Hello, I am Peachy.
Hello. The voice, it threw me off. Patrick.
No, sirloin.
Oh, yeah.
All right there, lads. I'm Jeff.
All right there, lads. All right.
Very good.
From
Very
Yorkshire
good.
now.
Hey up.
Hey, up me Duke.
That's it.
Welcome to our... Are we going to call
Yorkshire
it the...
mate completed it.
What?
Yorkshire mate completed it.
Right.
Like me and him, like I've just nailed the accent.
Yes, you did. Yes. Yes.
Right, got you. I was like,
We
I'm
all.
lost. I didn't know
over.
Yorkshire was a game and you finished it. Wow. Oh, I didn't know this. Well, welcome to our year in review and nonsense talk about Yorkshire.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is God's garden, isn't it? The garden of God.
Yes.
I know they say the Kent is the garden of England, but
Yeah. I think, is Yorkshire God's own country? Is
I
that
think
what
that's
it's
where they
called?
found the
Something like that?
apple. That's where Adam and Eve found the apple.
Oh.
And
Famously in Yorkshire. The
famously
Garden
in
of
Yorkshire,
Eden.
Garden of Eden, yeah, absolutely.
Snakes everywhere.
Why do you think they make the best tea? Cheers, Yorkshire.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely true.
Yeah. You heard it here, guys. Yorkshire tea is grown in Yorkshire.
And-
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And what else is grown in Yorkshire? That's right, Sean Bean.
Yeah, he was growing in
Oh,
Yorkshire.
yeah.
You're right, he was.
Just got to get him in. Got to get him in the show somehow.
I think the funniest Yorkshire thing I know was a joke my dad told me, and he said, I can't remember how it came about, but he was like, "Oh, the Yorkshire war cry," and I was like, "What's that?" And he goes, "How much?"
Yeah, they do. Whether true or not, they do. Sadly, have a thing of being seen to be a little on the tight side, don't they?
Yeah, Northerners,
Frugal.
sensible,
Yeah,
frugal.
yeah.
is the term.
Fiscally responsible.
Oh, I mean, I've been to London many times. I've gone, how much?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Blooming out. That's just a sandwich. I need a mortgage.
Well, yeah, Keris, she was in London for her work Christmas do. So we'll get onto the main podcast in a minute.
Sod it.
And she was like, "Oh, I grabbed some food at a station." She sat down and she got a one dish and a coffee, and it was kind of like a takeaway place, but you can sit in. 20 quid.
Oh, my giddy aunt.
Yeah.
It's like another planet down there.
Yeah, it really is. I can see why they have London waiting, like with being paid to work in London.
I mean, to a certain degree, you can play it safe with things like McDonald's, KFC, because usually they're not that much variation between the cost of that. But anything else, arm and a leg.
Do you know why Yorkshiremen don't like elasticated underpants?
I don't know. Why do
Because eventually they give.
Nice. Nice. So what are we talking about?
well,
Other than
ladies and
stereotyping
gentlemen,
people of the United Kingdom.
I'd just like to say that Jeff doesn't represent the views of the painting phase.
Dad jokes.
On air, I don't.
Yeah. This is where you go, yes, I do. And I would like to formally apologise to the people of Yorkshire. If you're not English, Yorkshire's amazing. And technically doesn't exist.
Why is that? Is it because it's in the middle?
Well, because Yorkshire has been split up into North Yorkshire, South Yorkshire. Like it's three separate counties.
Yeah, and it's
It's a shire,
it
isn't it?
is, isn't it? You're right.
They got four farthings of the Shire.
Yeah.
It's the biggest count when connected. It's the biggest county in the country, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you
I like
all
that remark. I like that statistic where they said that in the year when we had the Olympics in the UK, that if Yorkshire had entered it as a county instead of part of the Team GB, they'd come seventh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did. They did incredible.
That's amazing.
I think there was per population as well. It's the same as Scotland. So because my dad lived in Scotland during the referendum, and he was like, "It's like if Yorkshire wanted independence," it just made me laugh, like thinking about how much bigger Scotland is. But anyway, yes, Warhammer. So, yes, we are doing a year in review. We have some categories, miniatures and games and guests, and we have some Patreon requested categories as well.
Oh, excellent.
We have no idea where this is going to go. 2023, it's been a great year for miniatures. It's been a great year for the painting phase. It's
been a good year.
Studioed up.
Yeah, we've done a lot. So
it's not been a great year for Necromunda campaign, though, has it?
Well, I mean,
for the viewers, not for us. Obviously, we're excited.
Yeah, we have recorded the second episode.
And
if you thought Jeff was bad in the first one,
I'd like to point out I'm consistent.
If
you thought the first one, my dice rolling was a fluke, wait till you see this one.
It was a good game. I enjoyed that.
I want to point out as well, I did frame the wide angle so people could see the dog.
And she'd gone off to
she's away.
She's buggered off.
Yeah.
So she might pop back.
She'll probably come back at some point.
Dragging some random guy from the car park and just chewing on his leg right now.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah.
I think he's from War Games Illustrated. Should we let him know?
No, I'm sure they won't miss him.
So may I start the proceedings, gentlemen?
You may.
Before you do.
Oh, yes.
Which lights, as you've already aware, centres some whiskey. Not a huge fan of whiskey. So
I'm not the world's biggest fan.
I'm going to pour a little bit out for me and Patrick.
You and Patrick enjoy.
I'm going to use Sean Bean's mug. Patrick says he wants to use Pat Harper's mug.
There's obviously a difference.
Yeah, I don't actually know if they are.
I mean, the one you're giving to me is a bit shorter and has a bit more girth.
And mine's a bit thinner and
like Sean Bean was a bit of like a wiry chap, wasn't he?
Yeah. There you go. It's only a tipple. Thank you so much. I do those noises to annoy my wife, especially when she's driving and goes over speed bumps. She gets really annoyed. Drive better. No, I'm joking, darling. I'm joking.
On the couch.
In the shed. And she watches this as well. I'm not even had a drink yet. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm so much.
You got Larry already. Got Larry on tea.
I haven't even. I just realised that. Oh no! I framed your head in. That's fine. Yeah, I thought I'd cut your head off in a previous shot, but I think we were just moving for whiskey. What kind of whiskey is this?
This is Whistle Pig. Do you want me to read?
What a great name!
It's got government warnings.
What are the tasting notes?
I'm not finding many tasting notes these days. They tend to put them on the bottles.
Whiskey.
The tasting notes here are, according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverage during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. Consumption of alcohol beverages impairs your ability to drive a car or operate machinery and may cause health problems. That is the only information we've got.
That is my favourite flavour.
Yeah, it's hand bottled at Whistle Pig Farm, Shoreham, Vermont.
Oh, in Vermont.
Rye whiskey.
Ben and Jerry territory.
Yeah.
We know this.
What if it's got like a symbol underneath it? Like, if the Kingsman...
Oh, hello. You back?
I was watching Kingsman the Golden Circle the other day, so I'm just trying to see if there's any like symbol that takes me to the Statesman, but I don't think so.
Bella, sit on camera.
Come here, Bob.
Sit on camera.
Sit on camera.
Yeah. There we go. They're fine. Okay, so if let's feel free to play along and harass us in the comments for our choices. I'm going to go in with the big one, chaps. Favourite miniature of the year? Doesn't necessarily have to be GW, but that's kind of like where. Or should we? Let's do favourite GW miniature of the year.
I like this,
and then we'll do none. Yeah.
Can I go in with mine?
Please do.
I'm not normally a fan of. I won't say arty-farty, but like overly detailed sculpted miniatures, because as an army painter, that's a lot of effort. But I really like the Free Guild Marshal General, or Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, the one that's on a horse. He's kind of like going down a bit of a hill, bit of a low incline slope. And it reminds me of some of the stuff that like Seb Purbett did for like open competitions and stuff like that. It's just it looks like Death Dealer, but Free Guild. If you know Death Dealer, know Frank Frazetta art, it reminds me of that. And it's just a really nice pose. It's very... that's the leader of your army when you've got that. I really like just the way it's designed and like the way it kind of slopes down and stuff like that. It's just very thematic and cool. And I voted for that in the actual official voting because I thought it was pretty cool. There's a lot to pick from, but that was the one I went with.
Yeah.
I'm going to lead. Could you remind me the name of mine?
Ionis Cryptborn.
Thank you very much. Yes, the... as I was saying before, the nicest Space Marine chaplain they've ever made on a big skeletal dragon. It's a fantastic miniature. And I'm not normally an Age of Sigmar man, but I think, especially this year, again, Cities of Sigmar, I think Age of Sigmar have just absolutely knocked it clean out the park, especially because if being honest, as much as it kills me, the Space Marine stuff was a little bit exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Mainly because they were remaking kits we already knew they were generally going to look like.
Space Marines with different flavoured guns, right?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
slightly flavoured armour.
Well, it was like, because it was gone, well, you know what a Stern Guard looks like? We're going to do a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go, you know what Jump Pack Marines look like? Here they are when they're Primaris.
Yeah.
Terminators, remember what they look like? Well, they look exactly the same, but they're a foot taller.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And they're great miniatures.
They're all lovely,
Yeah.
but nothing of it was like, oh, wow, because it was all just reinventing things we already knew existed. So I'd love to pick something from, Space Marines are probably my favourite thing to paint and look at in 40k, other than maybe Sister Battle. But I was just like, they all look exactly like what we thought they did. Even the new Scouts. It's great to get new Scouts to go, oh, look, they look like the old Scouts, but a bit bigger.
Yeah.
But then that's a win, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not too far away from what they're meant to be, which is probably a good thing, actually.
But it just didn't lead to having my skirt blown up.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right, Marilyn. I'll go back to mine a bit, actually. I will say the
course,
entire
go for it.
Cities of Sigma range was amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
Just as a range of figures,
was.
I was blown away by that. So it was nice to see that. But yeah, of all of them,
Ogre with the
Marshall.
crow's nest.
That's just so much. I mean, I imagine there'll be more over the coming months and years and stuff like that. But yeah, just wow, well done. Well done, designers. You did a great job. And painters as well. And graphic designers. Everyone. All part of the team. Well done.
Yeah.
Yes, anyone that was proud to be part of the team.
Yeah.
I think, I agree with you, Jeff. I think that AOS releases this year were more striking and beat 40k for oh wow, look at that factor. But I think I'm terrible on the spot, and I thought about this a little bit, and then I just get overwhelmed with choice. So I'm just going to go basic bitch Angron, I think. For me.
I like how you said you're on the spot when you came up with the question.
Well, when
You prepared this.
I know.
There's nothing worse than when I interrogate myself.
Yeah, honestly, I'm awful.
Look, he's put himself under a harsh interrogation,
I mean-
and everything.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Bad pat.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've painted a few Primarchs over the years, and I really enjoyed painting Angron.
Yeah.
No, he's a fun model.
I think I like the amount of skulls on there. I am a sucker for a good 40k model. Like the AOS stuff, it looks incredible, but I don't think I would want to paint it yet, because I'm like, oh my god, that looks amazing, and it looks like a big job. I think having seen you paint Angron in a remarkably
In a minute,
quick
apparently.
time, Gordon Ramsay came in and painted it in a minute.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. And having seen you paint it and being able to watch a tutorial of it, I think I like Primarchs for me, like Mortarion, for example. I've seen so many Mortarians and I go, I'd never be able to do that. Whereas Angron, I think, very much because of yourself, I'm like, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of gone, oh yeah, awesome. Yeah.
I'd say testament to Angron as well is Mortarion. I have clipped details off him because there's just too much stuff, like all those extra little flies and things hanging around. I'm just clipping them off. Didn't clip a single thing off Angron. It wasn't necessary. A couple of chains and skulls hanging off the wings. Left them on.
Yeah.
Bellicor had a few extras which I didn't include because he has all these chains that link from his wings and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing them on the photo.
There was a few skulls and I just snipped a few off here and there.
I thought
Sorry,
the
Daz.
the nipple chains I thought were a bit weird. I'm glad you left them off.
Yeah. It's the one that goes right down to the loincloth as well, which was weird. Weird choice. Don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very happy when I flap my wings.
Yeah.
The
Demon Prince Albert.
Yay! There's a miniature for next year. Talking of Primarch, it was close one because even though I went, Space Marine releases this year, I did think the Lion was a bit special.
If you could get hold of him.
Yeah. The Lion was really nice.
Slippery bugger, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
It's
I liked
because he
all of
covers
it.
himself in grease and body.
I liked all the different
Bodybuilding.
helmets for all the different heads for that.
Oh,
I thought
yes,
was
yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
It was a lovely miniature. But
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Gulliman has, I think he has 3 head choices, doesn't he? He has a
Does he?
helmet and he has normal
2
stern
expressions.
face and then angry face.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good that you get.
I liked the idea that you did Dark Angel head with the big wings for ears, or ears for wings, whichever way around you want it. But I like the fact that he could then take them off if he decided he was putting his hood up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
In the
detachable.
comments, so and you might even know this because you're both 40k fans. The helmet he's wearing, is that the one the little watcher carries?
Oh, I think.
No, the helmet
ooh.
that's carried by the Watcher, was that not Azrael's?
No, because Azrael is like a relic, isn't it? I mean, it might be Azrael's. I can't remember off the top
It
of my
doesn't
head.
Azrael's. I thought Azrael's.
Because I thought it was a Primarch's gear, but I can't
I
remember.
don't know.
I mean, he might work. Have
Oh,
worn
isn't
it.
isn't
does
his
he
Watcher
have-
Give
in
me
the
my
dark?
helmet
Isn't his
back.
Watcher in the dark carrying the scabbard for his sword?
Oh, I don't know now. Oh, God, so long ago.
I'm websiting it.
It's the old model. I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
because I know
Oh.
Azrael, when he used to be in the old poles holding the helmet up,
And he didn't have
the
a helmet.
swords up. I thought the helmet was being held by that helmet was being held by
Yeah, the Watcher.
But
yeah.
I don't know what the new Azrael models
No,
what that's
He's
got.
got a scabbard and another guy's holding like a almost looks like a Crozius, but it's not.
It was just always in my head. Like, was that meant to be like? Oh my God, what's the guy's name? Primarch, Dark Angels.
The Lion.
The Lion.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lionel Johnson. I was
Yeah.
like Luther. No, I'll get hate for that. I mean, they're all chaos anyway, aren't they? So
Oh,
they're all chaos. It's true. True facts.
Lovely. Any favourite? Well, actually, no. So we'll keep it GW. Either I've kind of gone least favourite or like meme miniature.
Oh, we all know where this is going.
Well, I think there's two options. There's two options for meme, isn't there? There's Desolation Squad and then Stilty Boy.
Oh, Stilty Boy, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, every model's cool because I've been on that side of it. I see how much effort goes into the production of it. But sometimes, even like as a professional, when I worked at workshops, sometimes you'd be like a bit, oh, is that like a Friday afternoon job kind of thing? I'm not saying that the Meme Marines and Stilty Boy are that, but certainly I wasn't as zazzed when I saw him.
Yeah.
I liked the theory of Stilty Boy a lot. I just didn't like the execution, and I've said this on the show before. If they'd have been prepared to stick him on a bigger base and have him striding, and then look even more, War of the Worlds tripod, that really ungainly, big, long-legged thing.
okay,
I think
yeah.
that it would have looked, if it was more like he was like the rifle was in his shoulder and he was like stalking ahead. But I suppose we just sort of had him just sort of stood there like he was on sentry duty 9 miles back because of how tall he was. When the stilts were just static like that, it wasn't great.
You know what it reminded me of? It felt more like a showcase of the rest of the squad.
Yeah.
It felt like a unit as opposed to like a leader.
Yeah.
So looking at I don't see like a special character or anything like that. I see like, oh, this is one photo of a guy from a squad of 5.
Yeah.
Like, the wing guys,
okay,
the pterodactyl sort of dudes.
Yeah.
So it feels like it should be a unit as opposed to a single dude. But then that's just, me being me, wanting more.
No,
I thought but I
good
liked the
insight,
concept
yeah.
of it. I just
Yeah.
didn't like the execution.
Yeah. I think meme of the year has to be for me the Desolation Marines. Just like all of the photoshops that came out,
Which is
so
every one of them was
unbelievably
brilliant.
quickly.
Oh yeah.
And then now that, because I think they were locked in the bigger box, weren't they, with the Brutalis Dreadnought?
Yeah,
and
they were,
stuff.
yeah.
But then now that they're more freely available, seeing all the kit bashing videos that are coming out on YouTube, like Pete the Wargamer's done one, and I see loads of pictures on Facebook of like, oh, I've kind of chopped the gun down, and putting stuff on the backpack seems to be.
I don't think I've ever seen anything from the Marine Rage that's been so converted
No.
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, from being in retail,
Yep.
it reminds me, and I probably said this before when we last discussed it, it reminds me of when a kid gets or even a new hobbyist, doesn't have to be a kid, gets a set, doesn't understand the instructions and just sticks all the guns on.
Yeah.
Because I've had that so many times when they've got like a Razorback and it's a Rhino as well as a Predator kit or something like that, or they've got like a Devastator squad, it's got all the weapons, it's just like, what do I do with these spare bits? I guess I'll just glue them on the sides. It reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And it feels like, and I'm no offense to the person that sculpted it, because you
To be
put your
fair,
heart
though,
and
that's
soul
what a
in.
repulsor execution looks like someone's
Oh,
done.
yeah.
But that is actually how it comes.
Yeah.
And they will have been, the sculptor will be working to a brief as well. and
Working to a
all
brief,
that
working
sort
to
of
a
stuff,
probably super
yeah.
type deadline,
Yeah.
and sometimes a lot of these things aren't like creative driven, they're like business driven. So, but yeah, it just does feel like when you get like your kid doing a kit bash going, I've got all the guns on it, and you're like,
Yeah.
cool, that's you're having fun, enjoy it. But when it's a professional product,
Yeah.
you to me it felt like it was options and someone just stuck them all on by accident, as opposed to like you can have this weapon or you can change it for this or you can change it for that.
I think my biggest disappointment of a miniature for the year wasn't even them, because I think, and you're so often right where you say a miniature has too much detail or they put too much on it, but there are certain miniatures that should be as detailed and over the top as humanly
like
possible.
Primarchs.
Like Primarchs. I thought Terminator Chaplain was really poor.
Trying to remember what he looked like now.
Oh, the
new
new one,
Terminator.
yeah.
I can't
yeah.
remember what it looked
would have
like.
thought, things that you just thought there is an absolutely standard amongst chaplains, and one of the absolute standard things amongst chaplains is they carry a book.
Yeah.
They doesn't have a book on him. It's got a few purity seals, and then you think about the last Terminator Chaplain that came out was literally like a walking cathedral.
Yeah.
He's got
Everything.
skulls all the way
Yeah,
down him and scrolls and
Yeah.
everything. And they put his arm at a really weird angle, and it was a bit like, oh, I'm telling people off, and it just looked a bit weird. And
Maybe he's inspiring, Jeff.
yeah, but it was just like, oh, I'm a bit cross.
Didn't you hear the dinner bell? Get back inside.
Yeah. And it was a bit like, I like the idea that he had a shield, which I thought was quite unusual for a chaplain.
Yeah.
But it was just a bit, it was just like someone had gone, well, we're keeping them a bit lean, but it was like, I'm all for that, but it was just too lean. It was like,
We are the typical hobbyists right now. When we get too
you
much
can't,
detail,
you can't keep us happy.
we
Yeah.
moan. When we get
Yeah.
less detail, we
'Cause-
moan.
'cause
I'm happy for less detail, but there's miniatures that should always be at the top of the bar when it comes to detail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Chaplains for me is one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the Dark Vengeance chaplain that had all the rosary beads on his Crozaris, and that was too much in my mind.
Yeah.
I never painted it, so I'll have to. I will default to your knowledge on that.
Too many.
The new Dark Angel Terminators that got like leaked and then announced, like they're like loads of detail, aren't they? But like, because I was with that chaplain, I was definitely originally in that camp of being like, yeah. But then at least if you want to terminate a chaplain, he's there.
Yeah.
And then I think it was yourself, Peter, you were like, well, you can add more detail. And it's like, we've got a 3D printer now. And it'd be like 3D file of book.
Parchment, book,
Parchment, purity
Candles
sales. Yeah.
on my shoulders.
Yes. and then I was like, oh yeah, I can do stuff.
Well, I adapted.
Yeah.
I adapted him.
Yeah.
And I put, them things that the Black Templars wear there, they look like a purity seal, but instead of it having the seal at the top, it looks like it's going almost through, looks like a door knocker with the really...
Yes, yeah.
I put one of them on either side of his chest, and then the skeletal hand of obviously a previous Templar hero, I had that hanging off him, put a book on his back of just behind his thigh, and I moved that arm down and I turned his head so he looked like he was stalking a bit forwards, and it's made it something that I now like.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice, is that, if it's as a blank Marine, as a blank chaplain, to be able to go, I can hammer him into looking like what. But he thought, come on, they all carry a book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't
That's
mind
a lot
you
of
being...
words to remember.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah, absolutely,
remember.
off the
I
top
mean,
of his head.
depends how long you've been
Yeah.
around.
And it is lovely that there is a really nice book that comes on the Black Templar sprue.
That's true.
If you're going to be a Terminator chaplain, you have to have like a photographic memory. I read that. Yeah.
Although, to be fair, I would imagine with them hands, it must be hard reading through.
Can you lick a power? I mean, it's a power fist, so you're going to get like electricity. Ah!
Oh yeah.
Just exploding my tongue.
Yeah.
I've got a potential for 2024.
Ooh.
You may agree with this, you may disagree with this, I don't know, is the new Palanite Tauros, which is, as you rightly pointed out, and I didn't click until you said it, was the Elysian Drop Trooper sort of ATV.
Yeah.
Not ATV, probably not even that, but it's
All-terrain vehicle?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
I'd go with ATV for that, I would say.
So the new Enforcer Tauros looks quite
Lovely.
cool. Good for Guard Army, good for if you want to reenact in Ghostmaker. You've got Atalan Jackals, and now you've got that, so you can do the Tanith riding those vehicles when they're trying to protect a convoy, which is a cool short story in Ghostmaker. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's awesome. Tanif basically on dirt bikes and buggies is awesome. And yeah, just great for Necromunda and great for Gene Stealer Cult and great for Guard. So it's got loads of...
I hope it comes into Guard.
Oh, I can't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd like
if Forge
to see
would
it
have
come
making
back.
it, they'll find a way.
Yeah, I'd like to see it come back. And lovely, the really nice thing about it as well, which is a bit of a shift compared to a lot of the Necromunda specific vehicles, plastic as opposed to resin.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the plastic. So this is the thing that's like I love about the Forge World and the Citadel relationship now, because you're getting lots more plastified stuff for Forge World. So you've got like all your Necromunda gangs, but then you've got all those extra things on top of the gangs. So you've got quad bikes for Orlocks, which can fit as wolf quads for Gene Stealer.
Yeah.
You got the Maulers for Goliath, and you can have like really hench looking, almost Abomination-esque sort of Gene Stealer Cults. Well, obviously I'm in the Gene Stealer Cult mind and the Guard mind here, but and then you've got like the weird cutters, which look like pod racers a bit for the Esches, but then you've got like so much cool plastic stuff that you can then bring into 40k, use them as
what do you think of them?
or whatever.
I don't think we've discussed them on air. What do you think of the weird walkery things for the Van Sars?
What do they look
They've got
like?
like them big, like long tentacled leg
kind
looking
of like
things.
a 8080.
I've seen the Cordor ones, and I was a bit like, they're all right.
The Van
But I
Sars
don't
have
remember the
got-
Van Sar ones.
Yeah, the
weirdly.
Van Sars have got these long, like
Oh
long.
no, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it's plastic, and I'm not sure. Correct
don't
me
know
if I'm
whether
wrong
they
in
are.
the comments, Steve. Did you have a hand in that? I think you might have done. I'm going to shout out to Steve as well, Steve Bauman.
Absolutely.
The new Horus Heresy Assault Marines he sculpted with other people obviously involved in the team. So good job. Well done doing the Horus Heresy Assault Marines. They look great.
Nice. Well done, Steve.
That was his first kit for Horus Heresy.
Nice.
So well done.
Some lovely stuff on the Horus Heresy range, though.
On this channel, we can credit the artists involved.
We can, yeah.
If you know them personally.
But I'm sure it had something to do with the Arachnarig. Is it the Arachnarig?
I think that's what it's called, the Arachnarig.
Well, because there's like something like that.
That's the one.
Yeah, there's that one. And then
What do you think of them? You're as a Van Sars man, like them?
I will have one. I don't know if two come in the set, so the other one will be dead. So I'll have a destroyed version. That's the thing with the Necromunda, what I call the upgrade set, because you get like your gang, and then you get the extra, so like your Delax, and then you get like the extra stuff. I only build one of each, and then the others I just use for cool kit bashes. You get duplicate sprues. So with that, like the Ambles and the Ogrins, I'll do multiples, but something like that I might do.
The Ambles are cool.
The Ambles are cool. But yeah, the Arachnarid, if there's two in the set, which I can't remember.
Two in a box, yeah.
I'll do one that which walking, because I don't think I'll have enough points in my gang anyway to have more than one. So the other one will be a crashed or broken version, which is good for scenarios, or if it gets taken down as a bit of scenery.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So the next one, and if I may, I'm going to ask the question and then permit myself to go first.
Go on then.
Have you prepared an answer though?
No. Yeah, no, I have.
You put yourself on the spot again, Pat.
Yeah. Oh no, why? Oh, I'm so terrible. Is your favourite moment where GW may have announced something or released something, and the fan reaction has been what was your sort of favourite controversy, your favourite sort of fan outcry or outrage? And mine is definitely the flaw of the Rogel Dawn tank.
What was the
Because everyone complained that
But it had no flaw.
It didn't have a flaw.
right? The floor was the floor.
Yeah.
The floor was the floor.
Yeah. There was a flaw in the design of the tank, and I think there was some designer got in touch with us and was like, we were only allowed this many sprues, and it was either put a flaw on it or have all
Extra
these
guns.
awesome extra guns and cool things that you can put on your tank. But everybody was very upset that there wasn't a flaw on the Rogaldon tank, and I think that was my favourite sort of fan
Everyone was upset
outcry.
about it, other than Mikey from Hellstorm, who got the amount of mileage out of it for his channel, was really good.
Yes, he sold the flaw on
did.
Cult 3D.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a bit of a fence here on this. I see both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
I see why you would have to make those calls, right? You only get so much space on a sprue, and then if you have to go to a bigger sprue, it costs more money for the customer as well as time for the sculptor.
Well, it changes the box size and
it
everything,
changes the
doesn't
box size. It changes everything. It
Yeah.
throws it all out. So I get that side of it, but I
Yep.
also agree, and we've had this in the comments in previous chats, which is like, but I'm paying for a premium product. Can I not just get a floor? How difficult is that?
Yeah.
So I kind of see both sides of it, and I think sometimes when it's a business and it's a hobby, you're never going to get everything you want.
No.
No matter how hard you try, there's always going to be something. There's a lot of people out there that don't give two flying Fs about there being no floor, and there's a lot of people that do, which is, you know, just the nature of.
I think it has. I think it has split people.
Yeah.
Like 50-50.
I think
yeah.
the
It's like Marmite, right?
Yeah.
I think
Brussels
absolutely.
sprouts.
Yeah.
Rogel Dawn is the third.
Yeah.
I think the response I liked was from one of our viewers. Talks about it in the episode we previously talked about it. He bought one, and that night instead he took it to his gaming club, and all the people who'd been complaining that there was no floor, he took it, he laid all of the sprues out on the table and said, what 4 square inches of this kit would you get rid of instead to have a floor? And no one could do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone went, oh, I do like the jerry cans.
I mean-
I do like the toolbox. I do like the... And they're like,
From a hobbyist point of view, though, I mean, I don't really see the underside of my tanks that often. I've got a lot of Lehman Russes. I'm a guard player and a Brood Infantry stroke Gene Stealer Cult player. I rarely turn my tanks upside down. Usually, I get the Lehman Russ turret, flip it off, put it at an angle, cotton wool. It's very rare a tank will flip upside down. Unless a Demon Prince in Gaunt's Ghost hits it with its fist.
Yeah.
It's very rare that happens.
and the thing is, and you know, and if we're being specific about it as well, in 10th, you don't leave tanks on the table anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
They go.
You've got space to put LEDs in there.
Yeah.
So that's already designed for you. And if you do want to flip upside down, you can put your smoke
Cotton
coming out
wool
the
and
bottom.
stuff out the back of it.
Out the bottom
Yeah.
of it.
I-
So
I get it.
It's got bonuses and negatives.
I get
obviously.
it, but at the same point in time, I also said, I know a lot of people, not a kit, a lot of people like, that Space Marine Mario Kart doesn't have a base on it. No one was screaming. No one was screaming the world down when
Yeah.
it didn't have a base on
I mean,
it.
it's push fit. It's a bit different. It's
Yeah.
not like a bigger
Yeah.
kit, but you're right.
You know what I mean?
No one gives a damn
I was
about
going
that.
to say, like, Belisarius Call found a copy of Mario Kart Double Dash and was like, I'm going to weaponize
So
this.
that's how
Yeah.
it goes. You know, I think, I understand. You want a complete kit, but I think unless you do dioramas where the Lehman Russ looks like it's in an episode of the Dukes of Hazzard, not having a base on it's not really going to be a
Yeah.
huge issue,
Yeah.
is it? You know, but
Those
yeah,
boys were always getting into trouble.
yeah,
Yeah, did either of you guys have a favourite controversy?
yeah. I know what mine was, but
The only thing I could think of was the old only hand situation.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
And I suppose
yeah.
that kind of flips into 2022 as well as 2023.
Yeah.
And whether that, again, it's like, you know.
but you interviewed Suggs this year, so it was still a very relevant thing as well,
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
it?
true. Yeah. I feel sometimes, and this is not at all aimed at any staff member at Games Workshop because they work really hard and they're awesome people and I am always behind them. But sometimes the people above them can be a bit dumb when it comes to reacting to situations. Like myself, like Duncan's gone off and done his own thing. Suggs has gone off and done her own thing. I've come off and, you know, working with you dudes. And we talk about workshop in a positive light. Sometimes we have conversations, which is right because we
Yeah.
don't always agree, and that's fine. You don't always have to agree with everything. In a relationship, you don't have to agree with everything.
No.
In a job, you don't have to agree with anything, and that's fine. I sometimes think the reaction is such a knee-jerk reaction that it was just insane.
Yeah.
And like when Duncan left, it was like, oh my God, our prized bull has left. Let's
Problematic,
stop.
apparently.
Yeah, well, this is so it's like what we're going to do is restrict all the other people, which then makes them feel really disenchanted. The more restrictions you put on, because someone just expect people to move on,
Yeah.
respect them while they're there doing it. In fact, and this is the thing I was saying on live last week. I was like, if marketing used Warhammer TV as a vessel for getting cool people in for a period of time to talk about Games Workshop and do paint guides and do masterclass and battle reports and lore, and then it doesn't matter if you go off and do your own thing, we'll help you and support you because we'll get a new line of people coming in because there's now people we trust out in the community
Yeah.
talking about our product positively, at least 90% to 80%, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Make that a positive thing as opposed to seeing it as like a big sort of people have gone off and made their own channel. This is bad. We need to stop this. You're not allowed to show your faces anymore.
But you know, you think-
Idiot response.
You only want to think in one of the questions would have been if you considered so vital the fact that people, like when Pat's mentioned it before on air, that as soon as he arrived at Games Workshop, straight away people were bringing up in the first couple of days.
Yeah.
We're talking about what an issue it was that Duncan had gone and left. You go, surely your next train of thought is, how do we keep people so they won't want to do that?
Yeah.
Instead of why will we increasingly crunch them or stifle their creativity by hiding them away to a pair of hands to the point that you'll want to make them do it? Going, that's the way to fix it, isn't it? Let's make people more unhappy, because then they'll definitely stay.
Double down on the on that, and then make it more of a problem down the line. Absolutely, it's insane, and I think it's a historical issue. I think some of it is and I did retail training, and I think it's the best management training I ever had. But there's some people that shouldn't be managers in retail that have now moved further up the chain. I don't know how they've got there. This is not to like throw stones at people, but there are, and most of them have moved on and done other things. When I was in the studio, and we've talked about this when we had the chat with Suggs and stuff like that, it was like, how were you a manager? How did you get? Sometimes people fail upwards because they don't know what to do, and they're just like, oh, I'll put you in that position. But there's so many hard workers there that do try to do the right thing, and then they're constantly like just restricted and beaten down, that they become negative and become. I mean, I started to see that in myself, like getting a bit sort of bitter and a bit sort of angry, which is the right thing to move on and stuff. But I think it is a systemic issue with some of the middle management that they double down on it being like, this person's left, that's a big problem, let's stop that from happening, let's like add more restrictions. It's like, it's not that. People will leave no matter, every job. People will leave and move on and do other stuff. That's okay, that's allowed. You left and did your own thing for a time, so why should I be treated any different? It's weird. I don't get it. Maybe I'm not a psychopath, I don't know.
I've got two for mine.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. I'm like that.
Ooh, okay.
On one side of the scale, my favourite thing that created utter contempt and despair this year for our community was the new website.
Yes.
Of course, forgot about the website.
So the new website is the weight of the new website, but then what comes on the other side? Trying to buy a Kill Team box.
Yeah. So the stock issues.
Issues.
Yeah. Everything's on 2-week pre-orders now.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
Yeah.
2-week pre-orders make me sad. I don't know why.
Because it's long, but it gives more people a chance to get it. But then it's a longer wait to get it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so the new website, which was amazing because it was dead easy to use. As long as you just gone and done that Open University course in computer management, you could make your way around the website really easy.
I mean, I know a few people that worked on that. One of them contacted me recently.
Did they just say sorry?
No, not saying sorry. They just said, and rightly so, like, we worked really hard. There's lots of issues and stuff like that. And it's like, totally get it. Appreciate that side of it. But I've also heard other stuff, which is like the company had spent a lot of money on it and then ran out. And just, as opposed to like fixing it, they just put it out before Christmas.
Yes.
Which is the wrong time to put a website out before Christmas.
Great.
So I've heard lots of different things from different people in the community and some people behind the scenes. And this is not to like, don't do an investigation, you idiots, because people can talk and have an opinion. But it's typical. It's like someone doesn't know what they're doing or has an idea and they rush it. And I would have, if I was in that side of things, we'll be like, can we just wait until after Christmas, just make sure all the flaws are fixed, because Christmas is really busy, and we don't want a website that might be a bit janky.
They've got 360s working now.
I've noticed that.
I think, but they still, like, if you click on something and then hit back, it still takes you right up to the top, and you have to do scroll through.
I'm sure all the people working on it right now are like grafters, and this is not against you at all.
I don't feel like any of them are fault. It's the fact that somebody else went put that out. That's the person who's at fault.
I think one thing I think that we always try to do if we do sort of criticise is it's never aimed at an individual. It's like the faceless organisation that is Games Workshop.
Because building a website must be like painting a miniature in the fact that it goes through its ugly phase, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Before it all ties together. But what you don't do is when you're a commission painter, you get to the ugly phase and then send it back to the person. They go, there you go, that's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Oh, I'm going to start sidetrack a commission painting business
Called the Ugly Phase.
where I just base coat everything, send it out, and then I'm like, oh, if you wanted shading and highlights, that's like DLC. And you can post it back, and I'll do that. And they'll be like, you never told me this, you bastard. So I'm like, industry standard now.
Yeah. And you only do half the DLC because you're waiting for the patch.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, do you know, talking about that, my son's despair of it was brilliant. We had the original PS4 Spider-Man game on disc. And then when we got PS5, they put out a really nice extensive library. In there was Spider-Man games. So the boys got a load of games together they weren't now playing or they had in an alternate way, took them to CEX, traded them all in, got a shed load of money, bought loads more new games. And it was fine because we had Spider-Man. And then Sony upgraded the graphics for Sony mainly to make Peter Parker in the game look more like Tom Holland from the movie, and did some other little bits and bobs. But that was the main graphics patch. And then when they did that, it left the library and became 50 quid again. And we were talking about we were all sitting around the other night just having a chat about video games, and me and the wife were there, and my eldest boy just went, and the absolute kicker of it, and we went, what's that? He went, I've got 2 DLCs for it, no game now.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't that awful? Isn't that really awful?
That's bad.
That's robbery.
Yeah,
because you
he went-
paid for a product and now they've taken it away from you because they've done some stupid graphics
Well, we had
update.
it, but I mean, they gave you it as a free game in like their new, like the PS5 launch, where they're going, here's a library of cool games
Okay,
that you can
right.
have for free.
Oh,
So it
right,
allows
right,
us, but it
right,
meant we
right,
could
right.
trade the other one in. We're going, because we've got it for free.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they went, oh, we're taking it off free now because we've changed the way Peter Parker looks. It's 50 quid again.
Oh, those cheap. I mean,
yeah, I don't know, effectively.
people get mad at Games Workshop.
I don't know. It's like going, oh, we took away the thing that didn't cost you any money anyway. Well, it did if you look at how much membership per year costs, like nearly 90 quid now. But you know, it was just a little bit for the boys because, you know, my youngest was looking forward to getting around to playing the original one, and then it had gone because really they made Peter Parker look a little bit different. It's a bit naughty, isn't
Fantastic. Yeah.
it? You know what I mean? But the one thing I would say about Kill Team's defense, as much as I've hated the fact that, like that, how long was the Votan one on sale for? It was about 45 seconds.
I don't
I
remember.
think-
Votan versus Beastmen.
Yeah, I'd heard that some of them had sold out before they even went live.
How is that possible?
Yeah, that's it. Like, I think there was a certain people figured out, oh, if you join the queue at this exact time, like, and maybe that's why the new website came into place, and
Maybe.
hopefully it kind of stops that.
But the moan for me was
I won't
the,
count on it.
the moan I had was that when they did that was that they said that they would eventually break the teams down and they would sell the teams individually. A lot of which are really difficult to get in stock. Try buying arbiters is just ridiculously difficult. But they started selling them. But then what they didn't do was support the unique scenery that came with each one of them.
Yeah.
In their defence, I was feeling a bit bored and I hated myself, so I went into the website and they've now, as an online only purchase, they've done them little kits, so
Yes,
they
they
are
have, yeah,
available
yeah.
now
Yeah.
all the time,
okay,
which is nice that they're there.
I was a bit saddened that like certain
Credit.
sets we didn't get, then you missed out on like the
Like the
tactic
hologram table was
the
really
hologram
cool.
table and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to see.
So they're
that.
back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, you know, the Kill Team, it's great. It's good to see there's such variety, and it's nice knowing that you can get those sets separate. But yeah, you're right. I think like the Inquisitorial one, or the Arbites, or the Kazakin. Thank you, painting coach, for sending us the Kazakin. I still need to get them finished, to be fair. I know at some point they will be available. It's just that when they come in, everyone wants them.
Yeah.
So they go
Yeah.
out
Trying
of
to
stock,
get them
especially
stock,
if you're doing
yeah.
a guard army as well, because there's a lot of guard players and a lot of Kill Team folks.
Yeah.
Maybe they're both. Maybe
It is weird that you think the Kazakin are in the guard codex, and you have to go to
Yeah.
Kill Team
Yeah.
to buy them. It's
Yeah.
a bit weird.
Well, it's
It's
the
a
same
bit
with a lot
odd.
of the warbands for Warcry. It's like
Yeah.
you could make an army out of the Chaos warbands for Warcry for
Yeah.
Slaves to Darkness because they're in Slaves to Darkness. But it makes sense to have them sort of pitched for that game system because then there's no ambiguity when you're getting into Warcry. You know what they're for.
Yeah.
Once you're into Age of Sigmar, you kind of know what you want, and it's in the book. So you're like,
Yeah,
oh, I know
fair.
those guys around
Yeah.
that corner.
Yeah.
See, it's like because with some of them it doesn't matter so much. Like the guys for the infiltrators for that came in one of the Kill Team boxes were just the infiltrators you can buy, but they just came with an extra little sprue that made them look potentially just more interesting, not necessarily any of the things that were in there, like the way they gave the guy the goggles and things to go, he's a marksman. And you go, but that's only a Kill Team thing anyway.
Yeah.
So you go, and if you want infiltrators, you can still go and buy them from the Space Marine section of your local hobby store or GW. But to then have things like Cassican, which you go, they are a linchpin within certain guard armies, and you go, I now have to wait and hope they're in stock from the orange boxes over in the Kill Team bit. It's a bit,
So
for love of God.
Big fan of the upgrade sets, by the way. I think that's really cool. Like you do like a brand new gang, you do one with an upgrade set. And
Yes.
the biggest upgrade set win, I think, is the Night Lords one.
Oh,
Because you can't tell.
I know we can't. I know it's not out
Yeah,
yet,
I
but
know we've
it's
said we've talked about that on
good.
the previous chat, but that
Looks
is
good.
like for me like the biggest win in an upgrade set where you can't
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were all new models.
Yeah.
I thought it was a whole new kill team.
And that's when you've done it. It's when you've
Yeah.
nailed it, isn't it? If you make them and you go,
Yeah.
oh, new models, you go, no, actually, they're your normal Chaos dudes. but
Yeah.
with-
I can't wait for them.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Derby.
I'm
You
dead,
like your Batman, don't
dead
you?
excited. Yes. I love anything with a skinning pit. I'm in.
Yeah, it's fine.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Do you want 4 skinning pits
Oh.
scattered across the board as objectives?
Yes. The whiskey's kicking in. Which is
My face has gone numb.
It's very tasty. It's
only had a little bit.
It's incredibly smooth. It was a generous pour.
Yeah. Was it a generous pour? I thought it was a normal pour.
I'm gonna finish it. Okay, so let's. Is everyone happy to move on to another?
Absolutely.
To another
think
topic.
so.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite gaming moment from the year?
From the year, a favourite gaming moment. I don't know if it's a favourite gaming moment. I definitely think it's. If I was to go back in time, I'd probably. There's two, actually. There's two.
Cool.
There's the first Necromunda game we played.
Yes.
Yes.
And the very
fun.
first 10 words was, Jeff, your job is to beat him off. Or get him off, sorry. It's to get him off.
It just sort of set the standard for the rest of the game, really. doesn't
To
it?
get him
Yeah,
off. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, I wish I'd rephrased that. So, as an initial intro to a game, that was top tier. I didn't mean that at all. It was just, I was in scenario mind, not rude mind. And I think as another gaming moment was on the games night when I was doing the Sharp game, was getting, there was a bit where, I don't know if you watched it, but, and spoilers, Sharp is protecting some important dignitary. We called him the Prince of Wales. Bonnie Prince Charlie, Lewis called him. He wasn't, but he died 22 years before that all happened. But it was a bit of fun. No one cares. Some people cared, but I didn't. And a unit of British turn up at one point, and there's a small group of French voltigeurs at the top. They're just like kind of the equivalent of light infantry. Well, they are light infantry for French, but they're not quite sharpshooters. This group of 10 French are holding this entire British regiment off on their own, led by an absolute idiot of an officer, right?
Sounds
it all
about
goes
right.
belly up. The officer declares a charge. The guys stumble across a fence. Then they fail again. They're getting massacred. And then everyone runs away. So the officer just goes, oh, not my problem, and trots off with his buddies. Sharp sees that. And during the game, because there's lots going off with the rest of the stuff, I'm like, what do I do? The right thing to do is to shoot my own officer. That's what Sharp would do. I've seen it in the TV series. I'm going to shoot my own officer. And I did that. And it was the reaction of like Ben and Lewis, like, what is this? And it just felt so narrative. So I think for me, in one game in the year, that was such a fun thing little to do.
Yeah.
Because that's how I play. I play in the narrative. I don't play to win. So
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
actually having a massive negative on myself by killing my own officer. But that's
Yeah.
what Sharp would do.
Yeah.
I'm going in story mode. I'm now engrossed and invested in this character.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I've seen him do. He's he's obviously killed other officers. So I'm just going to channel that. So yeah, I think that was it.
Very
Those
good.
two.
I think for mine was when me and my pal Tim started playing the contents of the Leviathan box. And as a Space Marine player, never had having access to this before. How lovely when you're playing it is to discover that how nice a 10-man flamethrower team is.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fire. No wonder they called it. Is it Infernos?
Inferno Squad.
Infernus, yeah.
There was no fairness in it at all.
No.
Them Von Ryan's Leapers, they were crispy.
Very good.
Tasty.
Yeah, I heard they're great barbecues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you could smell it from here.
Yeah.
No, that was great because I think used to things like say Marines being a bit they do this, they do that, and you're going, I've always had a guy with a flamethrower or I've had a Terminator with a heavy flamer, but you're going, oh, when you get 10 in a squad, that's new.
Yeah.
That was quite a cool little moment.
I think I've played very little this year. But easily the standout moment for me again is the first Necromunda game, me versus Jeff, like GM'd by Mr. Peach, and we'd had a couple of practice games at this point, and then I'd become sort of increasingly aware that I went in picking the simplest army because I was like, right,
smart move.
What's really easy? You were like corpse grinders, run forwards, hit people. I was like, you know what, my brain can comprehend that. And I had a chat with the rotary flensing saw, and I made it into contact with someone of
Some poor
of
fellow.
your gang.
Yeah.
And I was all
Was it a bald one with glasses?
Yeah. and I was all cocky, and I was like, 3+ hits on a 3+. And I rolled and I missed all of them.
Yeah.
And we all laughed our asses off, and then you went, Jeff, would you like to react to that? And Jeff went, ooh.
I forgot about that.
I think about that a lot. I'm actually crying. It was just so, just brilliant. Like, we all knew what you meant, but I was cocky and I deserved it. Dear me.
Comedy timing.
Oh, it was sensational. I thoroughly enjoyed that moment. So that was wonderful. Okay. Do you have a favourite thing you painted this year?
I've got a few.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing the Ewok Murder Village.
Yeah.
That was.
I see that come up the other day, on a completely unrelated to us Facebook page. Someone had put a picture up of talking about on a painting page was talking about psychopathic Ewoks. And I love the fact that in the comment below it was a link to your.
Amazing.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, as a video that we did, I really enjoyed that one. I don't know if it did particularly well in comparison to some of the other 40k related stuff, but it was fun to do.
It was so much fun.
And it was a diorama, building a diorama.
Yeah. Like, when we were sorry, apologies for interrupting, but when we filmed that, like, we were just giggling the whole way through. It was such a fun.
And we even did like
fun
Nessa, the
experience.
princess
Yeah.
from the Ewok TV cartoon.
Yeah.
She's got a little pink bib. So she's there and there's like one guy, because I had some 3D printed corpses, and there's just like one, and there was just, because I cut the spears and like slings out, and there's just one that looks like he's holding the sergeant and just punching his face, and I was like, oh god, that needs to go right there. It's mad. I painted a lot of stuff over the year, but I really enjoyed painting the what if versions of the Shatterpoint that I put on Instagram.
Yes.
So
They
like
were great.
Good
They were
guy.
really good. They were really
Moore
good.
was my top tier favourite.
Yeah.
I like Asajj being like almost like she's in a wedding dress, weirdly, getting ready to marry Quinlan Voss. R.E.P. R.I.P. R.E.P. What's that? Rest extra pieces? I don't know. Yeah, that was fun. Although I did make Charlie cry when I did Baddie Ahsoka. He's a big fan of Ahsoka.
Oh dear. Yeah.
It's like, why are you doing that, Daddy? I think he disowned me for at least 2 days, which is why she got put in a box out of the way.
Yeah, fair.
She got them painted, and I put normal Ahsoka out.
Oh,
Yeah, she
good.
magically turned to a
Yeah,
good guy again.
Good.
So
Yeah,
that's fine. That's
good.
fine. So
Excellent.
yeah, I think Ewok Village and doing what if versions of Star Wars.
Fantastic.
I saw. My mate Steve showed me a image. So you know the Shatterpoint do from the Obi-Wan TV series. They do Darth Vader and Obi-Wan from the TV show. It's
Yeah,
like a
from the
little-
final duel.
Yeah, it's a really lovely set. He's done. I forget
Not
the
cheap though. Jesus.
No, not cheap. I forget the terminology that they use, but I want to say Vader ascended. And it's when he's done a what if, and it looks really good, as if Vader survived when Luke rescues him, and he then continues to. For the life of me, I can't remember the painter's name. He's got a YouTube channel. He does he basically converts it. He uses Gar Saxon's head and he sculpts like a mask on it, and he's done him in like looks like a good guy. He's got black armor. We've got like brown robes and stuff and a blue lightsaber. So it's like a good guy Vader with Luke. But then he started like this whole concept of like, imagine if this happened, Vader would want to re-establish the 501st as a good thing. So there's a load of stormtroopers with the blue markings, and they're all goodies. And I was
That's
like,
so
That's a
cool.
good
I
idea.
love this what if. We need more what ifs.
Yeah.
Disney, you do what if for Marvel. I don't.
Yeah,
You're
what
probably
if
not even
Star
watching,
Wars?
but do what if Star Wars.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Nah, Bob Iger's watching this.
Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah, of course
I
he
would
is.
have thought
Yeah. Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy's
Yeah.
not.
Come on, Bob. Sort it out. Yeah. Bob pulls the strings.
Yeah. Mark Hamill watches this. I know
Yeah,
that for a
yeah.
fact. It's
Yeah.
true fact.
Facts.
Well, favourite thing I've painted this year? I think favourite thing I've painted this year was probably Space Marine Terminator Captain from Leviathan.
Yeah.
And I'm no expert by painter by a long chalk, but I painted that just in time for the reveal of the next Space Marine Captain and Terminator arm that's now weirdly disappeared, and went,
Oh yeah.
that's not a very good miniature. You know, where you actually hold your own up and then
Yes.
look at the photograph and gone, that's not really a very nice miniature at all. And I thought, it's one of them bits where I just thought, not very often I ever think, I'm going to stick to the
The push fit one.
push fit
was
one.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, and
think
I
that.
just thought, I was like, no, I'm not having that actually. So I think, it was that for me. It was a nice miniature. And it's just waiting with Tim now, because Tim's going to painting the Carnifex head on the bottom of it to match his army.
Perfect.
It's quite cool,
Yeah,
so
that's
he's going
good.
to do that.
That's good.
But I think that's probably been my favourite thing to paint this year. I've really liked that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's cool.
fantastic. I think for myself, it was the Space Ducks.
Absolutely
of
right.
course, yes.
And what an epic undertaking that was.
Yeah.
And you gave it away.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I got an update message from the person that won them. They messaged me on Instagram and they were like,
amazing.
"Here they are." And I was like, "Oh my god, my children!" But that was really fun because I kind of went into that a bit naively, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to use streak and grime. I'm going to use oil paints and all these things that I've seen YouTube painters use," and it all worked out quite well, I thought. And I'm sure I'll look back in a few years and be like, "Oh my god, it's so terrible." But
Someone's already pointed that out with your. You did a little short, didn't you?
yes, I did.
So
Yeah.
it's so laughable watching people trying to use streak and grime. So,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Get back in your box, mate. Why do you know?
Yeah, that's
Have
it.
you had communication with the person who owns it?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So they're being.
I'm getting
So,
stared at.
For our audio only listeners, we're playing with Bella,
Playing with Bella.
Our fight kick in.
our
Oh.
mascot. Painting phase mascot.
Yes. I want some of your hair.
Oh, she's so adorable. Yes, so that is the favourite thing I painted, I think.
Oh, good. Yeah,
and
it's my
was-
favourite
And
thing
for
you
a
painted.
wonderfully good course as
and,
well.
it's for a good cause, a good reason. I had a hard deadline, so I had to get it done.
Yeah.
Which was
it's
super
better than a
helpful.
soft deadline.
Yeah,
They're
very
annoying.
much so.
Soft
Yeah,
Was-
deadlines.
yeah.
The question then was it what was it a bittersweet? Was it nice to get it finished, but was it terrible to give it away, or were you happy to see it go?
I wish I had more time with them finished.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
I finished them on the day. I said, "Oh, I'll be there at 1," and I got there at like 3:30. The water on like the Dreadnought, because I put a little duck in like a pool of water, that was still drying. And someone was like, "Oh, how did you get the bubbles in the water?" And I was like, "Because I'm terrible." And they had everything all laid out on the table, all of these space
Yes,
ducks,
yeah.
and I put my stuff on and chatted to a few folks that were involved, and then I don't know, like leaving your children at university.
Yeah.
I was like, they're not mine anymore. I've done everything I can. I've nurtured them. I've given them life. Go off and do great things. Which is me romanticizing it, I guess. But yeah, because I think the Dreadnought took me the least amount of time, and again, as is the trend with lots of things that I like doing, I've seen you do them, and I steal all your ideas. And the Dreadnought, people, because I put big wings on it from
which are
Yggdrasil.
amazing. Amazing. Did you get photos of everything before you
Yes,
took it off?
yeah. Or I've got 360s of everything.
I didn't do
and that
anything
kind of
for
thing.
mine. I completely forgot to take photos.
Yeah.
Idiot, but
And the most messages I got were either about the little duck mascot, which I thought was a stroke of genius, if I made toot my own horn, or it's the Dreadnought. And people are like, "Oh, Dreadnought's really cool because it has two big wings on it, which attract your attention." And then all of the chipping and the highlighting I just did with the sponge, and it took me 10 minutes. And it's as effective as if I did it, like, if it took me 6 times as long with a brush, it wouldn't look as good. Like the sponge chipping, using the old Daz Latham method, getting it into
so good.
A brush protector and just being like, "I'm already late." And it was fine.
Visions of it blue tack to the dash and driving with one.
Oh yeah, like
I mean, I've seen folks doing their makeup in their wing mirrors and stuff like that before.
God,
so
yeah.
you could get away with that. I guess, I suppose, from my point of view, because I only did one character, and it was fun. But working in a team where you painted stuff, working in the retail where you painted stuff for the cabinets, which wasn't yours, working in the army painting team where you paint stuff that's then handed away, you put a lot of heart and soul in it, which isn't yours. I kind of got, I guess, used to the disconnect that, that's no longer mine. Done that. There you go. Off you go. It's gone. So I guess that's kind of a new feeling for you. Is like putting a lot of heart and soul into something and then just watching it go away,
having it disappear. But then hopefully it provides someone else with some joy.
Certainly provided a charity with some extra
money.
funding.
Yeah, which was the main good.
Yeah, so happy to be involved in that one.
Happy to be part of the team.
Yeah, happy to be part of the Painting Phase team that painted those miniatures.
And there was lots of nice people on the day as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. It was lovely. It was lovely. Okay, so, and again, I wrote this question. I don't know my own answer. Favorite Painting Phase video from this year?
Ooh.
I
It's a
think
tricky one. It requires thought, I think.
I'm. It does it doesn't. There's a lot.
Oh.
But I think if you're gun to the head, I'd go the 122nd Cadian in 12 hours, which then took 15 hours.
That's my answer too.
Which was like, they're now putting decals on corpses kind of point. Because it shows so much in that video from like an army painting point of view, which is like, things go wrong, how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
Hacks to get things done really quickly. You don't have to put loads of effort into every figure. I know that someone will probably go, yes, you do, because it's painting and it's an artistry. It's like, yes, if you want to do that for one figure, that's fine. When I'm doing an army, I want to get it done. It's different, and it's the impact you get. So like doing like the red shoulder pad, doing the transfers, doing the camo.
Yeah,
they were the only effort that I put into that army, and the rest was just tidy ups and stuff like that. So you can get massive wins from small things. So I think in that video I managed to showcase a fair few hacks, and it was just a lot of fun doing.
Yeah,
I want to do more.
Yeah,
and we kind of did a bit with the World Eaters one.
Yeah,
but I think the Cadian one was my favourite.
Yeah.
I think mine was because I think it was an eye-opener for me and such an eye-opener for a lot of other people, and it literally shifted people's opinions on things. I think was the first Tom Hibbert video.
Yes. Yeah. Very good point.
Which I think, because the ramifications of that video, a lot of people saying, I've read extensively about it on Reddit, and it seems to be a real thing, and I think it's very easy, and often rightfully easy, to boo and hiss and point fingers at Games Workshop. But I think when you sometimes understand the process of why things end up as they are, by somebody who's been involved in it, who's somebody who just wants to do his job well and isn't in it to go, oh, watch me screw over people's ideas of how their hobby should be, which wasn't Tom's intention at all. I thought it was a really good video.
Yeah,
I liked
agreed.
it. I really liked it.
Yes.
I do think sometimes and I'm guilty of it as well. Sometimes you forget that Games Workshop is a business and they've got to make money.
Yeah.
And sometimes in your head you think it's a hobby charity. Like, I'm not saying that it is.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I get
you know,
what you
they
mean.
do it. A lot of people are there doing it because they love that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there that are doing it because it's a business and they've got to make money to pay for all the people that are employed there.
Yeah,
now.
what, like 1,000 employees or
More
something?
than that. It's going to be more than that now. Lots more. I mean, it was 1,000 employees. I've heard 1,000 employees for over 10 years and it's constantly grown.
Oh,
so.
right, yeah.
Yeah, probably nearer to.
There's always seems to be the nice, easy round number, but I think you're getting into like, because of all the factory staff, there's, the thing at East Midlands, Parkway. You got the States, you've got like all across the world. We're talking like tens of thousands.
So East Midlands Parkway is a train station.
But we know what you mean. It's out that
it's
way.
by the airport.
East Midlands Airport area. I thought it was Parkway, but you're right.
It might
is
be.
the train station.
Yeah, maybe both. Why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
Yeah, let's just have something there. Everyone just sits there on the train station, being paid by a workshop because it's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting, that one was.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I move on to
what's yours?
Mine. What was the question again?
Favorite video.
Favorite video.
Oh yeah, so I think mine was the guard.
Yeah.
The guard video. I think it was
It does remarkably well for us as well.
and it was like a great combination of like loads of different stuff. I think there was lots of different reasons for people to be able to watch it and enjoy it, and I think in my head I was like, I think this is gonna do well, and then it did. So I was happy about that.
You know what I think it is as well, and this is not a criticism in any way, shape, or form to anything, but because I don't think we're sponsored in that, were we?
No.
And I think there was something in that where I wanted to do this, and I wanted to showcase stuff. Whereas, and it's right because we got to make money, we got to be sponsored. This is the thing. I think a lot of not all of our viewers, most of our viewers get it, but you get like comments, which is like, oh, you've sold out because you got a sponsor. It's like, well, how do you think we pay for like food?
Yeah, for
and
this,
and
the rent,
electricity,
the electricity, Wi-Fi.
Of course, we've got to
of
get
the
sponsored.
things.
Yeah.
But sometimes with the sponsors, you have to direct it to make everything make sense. So sometimes I don't say muddy the water, but you definitely have to take more into consideration. You have to angle it in a different way. And as we found, like the algorithm, you got to angle stuff in different ways and stuff. And I think that one was definitely a passion project, and I felt more myself in that video.
Yeah.
So yeah, opportunities to do more of that.
Yeah,
would be fun.
because I think on the advertising thing, I think my preferred sort of advertisement is if someone is like, here's an integration. Say like the Squarespace ones, for example, because we could put them on any video.
Yeah.
And we'd
Unless it's doing the figures, actually.
Yes,
We need to do more figures.
we'd have a pause and there'd be figures chatting to each other, or I'd pretend I was on Country File.
Which is amazing.
Or something along those
Or
lines.
transporting to Paris.
Yes, yeah. And they don't sort of directly affect
The content.
the content of the video or anything like that, which is quite good. So
The raid ones were interesting.
yeah,
I enjoyed doing them, but it was an interesting sort of like, and the same with like, because we've had Blizzard, we've done a bunch of stuff for Blizzard.
Yeah.
That we've painted stuff specifically for Blizzard, which I think has had a knock-on effect to the views, because some people aren't interested in that, and I think that might affect. And rightly we said before, it should be the content that drives.
And it's a shame because there's so many really good tips in them videos that
beginners painting tips, then take up to the next level, and then the last one, which will probably be out by the time this airs, which is like everything combined to paint one thing. And I think that they are evergreen, so they'll build up as the years go on. But yeah, certainly like the first raid one was just like, I want to make that model, and we made something close to it, and then the other one was like, I'm going to make a model from the game because I can't stop playing it. Which I still can't stop playing.
I've managed to kick the habit.
You have?
Well, just because I've moved house and I haven't had a choice.
Well, you've kicked the habit. I'm trying to get Xena.
Oh, yeah.
She's available. I want Xena Warrior Princess in my warband.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's fun things. Sometimes, I find the sponsorships incredibly fun and reassuring, but at the same time, they can affect how you pitch a video. I think that's my learning from the year.
Yeah.
Is how I go about catering the video to the sponsor and vice versa.
Yeah.
Whereas when you don't have that, you can just do what you want and have fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not saying we don't have fun. We do have fun. We have lots of fun.
Yeah. So I think it's like I like the sometimes my camera's overheated, so I'm now a black
with the,
screen.
With a t-shirt.
Yeah. Sirloin. He's broken the internet. Don't ask me where I got the t-shirt from. I can't remember. It was a TikTok or an Instagram reel, and then I was just like, yeah, I love that.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, any before I move on to Patreon questions, anything that you guys want to throw in the mix?
Yeah. What would be our favourite hobby channel this year?
Oh, so I know mine straight away.
Yeah, I know mine straight away as well.
I think. Yeah. So I am not going to cut to myself because I'm a black screen.
It's awful this as well because so many of these people we now know.
Yes,
which is really hard to go.
and it's really, really difficult to choose just one. But I think if there's one that I've sort of looked at sort of more recently and I've followed more than anyone and thought, I'd really like to be able to do something like that, I think it's Court of Paint. And Henry, because he mainly does the YouTube videos. I think I remember watching a bunch of, he's got all the Black Templar videos sort of going through the process at the minute and doing all that sort of stuff. And they use a lot of airbrush, they use a lot of oils, and they kind of utilize interesting products and make you understand why they're good and why you would use them instead of something else or for that sort of specific thing. And then just every time I click on a video and it's like, hey guys, Henry here. and then I fall asleep, and then I wake up and then I rewatch the video because it's just so soothing.
Apparently people fall asleep to my voice, so
wonderful.
It's normal.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's Court of Paint. Shout out to Henry.
It's yours?
Yeah.
Sorry, but Cult of Paint.
Yeah.
I want to give somebody else, but yeah, Cult of Paint. Although it's brilliant, but it was really annoying to watch. As much as I like Henry have an absolute existential crisis over how badly he'd painted this Black Templar Terminator captain, and the bloody thing was amazing. I've done everything the way I wanted it to do. All the plans have worked out as I wanted to, but it doesn't look right. And me screaming at the screen, going, "Oh, Henry, give it a rest! It looks amazing."
Yeah,
but, I've because I think they actually straddle that line between Richard Gray and people who can teach you to paint to a good level. I think that Cult of Paint live in that middle ground of going, I personally would never follow a Richard Gray video because I love what he does, but I don't even understand how he's doing it, never mind following what he's doing. And I think Cult of Paint are in that middle ground where you're going, that's really amazing painting, but there is things I am actually learning out of that that I know I can do. They showed a recipe for doing gold for the Terminators for Black Templar, and I thought, there is things in that I know. The fact that he mentioned to paint that I already have that is, not a standard that everyone owns. And I was thinking, I thought, I'm getting this. These guys have something that I'm... So they probably have been for me... my favourite of the year has been Cult of Paint. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a new tagline for them. Achievingly aspirational.
Achievingly aspirational. Yeah.
Send it to him.
Maybe something like that. Yeah, because I think they use a lot of airbrushes and they use like oils and stuff, and so it's kind of like I see say Richard Gray's videos, exceptional painter. And I love watching his videos. I think they're brilliant. But then I feel like they're a few steps above what I would be willing to try at the moment. And maybe that's just me being a flange.
That thing that Cult of Paint are doing of putting blobs...
Edge of a plate.
That thing of putting blobs of oil paints on armour. Yeah. And then it's like a blue or white and something, and then just dragging it all down to create this blended textured effect of rust and wear and all the rest of it. And you go, that's something we can all pretty much do, but if you were to just see it as a finished product without them explaining how it was done, you go, I couldn't do that in 1,000 years. And you go, it's actually, so for me. Who for you then, sir?
I've got two. I'm going to be greedy.
Go for it.
And the reason
Spread
is
the love.
2 new channels this year. one obviously far more successful than the other, so I can't not say Suggs.
Yeah.
And the main reason I think is not only do I enjoy having her in the background with a strange Scottish accents, is knowing her sort of journey.
Yeah.
Of like being super anxious and stressed about this whole like issues that she had at workshop, thinking that she can't make it, she won't be good enough to be out on the internet. We all knew that she would be fine.
Yes.
But that self belief and then seeing her grow, I think that's been really, really good watching that, and positive to anyone really that's wanting to get into that kind of that scene, that, you know, if you just put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want. But obviously there's still people out there that hate her because she's female, which is weird. Just accept people for being what they are, and they have and they do the hobby. It doesn't matter what your gender is.
Any more time.
It just doesn't matter if your bits are on the outside or on the inside. As long as you enjoy painting toy soldiers, that should all be.
I mean, it obviously affects how you can hold a paintbrush. We all know that.
Maybe, yeah.
That was a lot of sarcasm.
Yes, we know that, Pat. Don't worry, it's okay. It's okay.
No, that wasn't for you guys.
And fair juice as well.
Yeah.
So she's done amazingly well.
Well, she started a whole YouTube channel this year and a whole miniature range.
Well done. Accused her of being a slacker, could you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So Suggs, and someone we recently had on, just because I like having him in the background, is Jordan Sorcery. So he's been going a year.
Ace. Yeah,
so
Jordan's really ace.
He's getting up to 12, 13K, I think now. And for me, I like listening to stuff about Old World. I like hearing someone talking about, like, it's really interesting because we've chatted to him and he hasn't worked for Workshop, but it feels like he's someone that was there all the time, just documenting it. Which I think is really interesting. And that's just because he's researched and read stuff. And I know we get a lot of comments about, like, do your research. We're talking off the cuff here.
Yeah.
We're not sat down beforehand, like, doing our
I enjoy being told off the other day for Legion Imperialis.
Oh, but this is the thing. It's like we are like three people chatting about subjects, and they're off the cuff topics. None of these are planned. This is all organic.
Yeah.
So other than me go, give us a minute. I'll do this in a pub, but it doesn't make for great viewing.
Imagine in a pub chat if everybody's going there.
Yeah. So we don't do research because we're talking organically. And the research is what our memories are. Whereas obviously Jordan's great because he does his research about the topic he's on about, and he gets all this documentation from White Dwarfs and interviews that he's done. And it's just good whilst I'm hobbying or writing scripts or thinking about stuff or just sitting down, just having him in the background, chatting about like first edition Warhammer, second edition Warhammer, all these other cool products that have come out. Most of it's Warhammer. There's some Rogue Trader related stuff, but I just think it's nice seeing, because we've been there starting as a new channel, just seeing these other people grow and, you know, what they're doing and different dynamics and whatever. So I
tell you who I hope continue to see go on doing really well, because they are just a really lovely pair of people, is Brushlickers.
Brushlickers.
Yeah, we've all been on there now.
We've all been on there as the Pokemon did. They caught us all, didn't they?
I may have overdone the face on that one.
Oh, God. I forgot about the face.
Do you know that's been turned into a piece of art now for a T-shirt?
Sure it has.
Is it really?
Yeah, we might have to get that T-shirt. Someone sent me an image going, that's going to be, I'm making merch.
I've got to be honest, I looked at it and I thought, oh, God, that's got terrible levels of Photoshop options.
It was the turtleneck that did it for me.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, this isn't just any brushlick. Like, if you're wearing a turtleneck, there's an element of class to that brushlick. You know, that was like an M&S advert. It was sublime. Yeah.
I did a few, and I just went, sod it. And I just went, and I was like, that's the one.
Yeah.
But they're a lovely pair of guys, and their channel's new.
Yeah.
But they've got a really nice vibe about them.
Yeah. So
we wish them luck.
Yes, go and listen to the Brushlickers podcast.
Yes.
They're on Instagram, and then they have all their Spotify.
And you were at a wedding with one of them, weren't you?
Yeah. I filmed.
You got pegged.
I filmed Rachel and Spen's wedding, which is like the Warhammer event of the season. And then yes, there was like a little Warhammer row. And it was lovely. Yeah. Quite distracting. So I was like, I want to talk Warhammer. Oh, but I need to film this wedding.
I need to do my job.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Peach, for our?
I was going to throw in because we didn't touch on it, which is my favourite non-Games Workshop product, and that would be Shatterpoint. Not the game. I'm still getting my head around the game, still enjoy it, but I love the miniatures.
Yes.
I didn't think I would. I thought they're bigger than Star Wars Legion.
Yeah.
But I just find painting them far more enjoyable than Legion, weirdly. And even though they're quite static poses, you can do a bit of converting and messing around.
Yeah.
But I just really enjoy painting those models.
Yeah.
I think it's doing the what if thing, which I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Was quite fun as well. But
Yeah.
more of that. And they're doing some Empire related stuff now. So they've got some Darth Vader and some Stormtroopers. They've got Boosh and Return of the Jedi heroes, basically.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
So yeah, there's a nice selection of stuff coming out. But.
Yeah.
And I think the Bad Batch at some point as well.
Oh, I'd buy them. I'd buy them just to have them.
Yeah, I think they were shown at Adepticon or Nova, and it was just like screenshots that people took photos of the big screen.
Yeah.
But the thing with Shatterpoint is you tend to have 4 figures in your. You have basically 8 figures on the table. Usually,
Yes.
You have a primary, which is like Anakin. You have a secondary, which is like Rex, and then you have a squad, which is like 2 clone troopers.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one squad. Then the other squad will be Ahsoka, which is a primary, Bo-Katan, which is a secondary, and then 2 Mandalorians. So normally, for a box, you get 4 figures.
Yeah.
Where Bad Batch, you get 6, because you have Hunter, Crosshair, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, and Omega.
Tick.
So I'm not quite sure if that's 2 squads. So they make their own thing. So actually, it's like a primary, a secondary, and then one of them counts as a trooper, or if it's just one big one. So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But just to paint up, so it's for cool.
I'm
figures.
surprised they put Crosshair in there and didn't put him in with like a squad of.
Yeah, I mean, you might. But that's the great thing about Shatterpoint. You can do what you want.
Yeah,
you can literally put
absolutely
Darth Maul with clone troopers, which is what I've done now, which is why I did the what if version.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I like the choices you get.
Yeah.
I'm not known for being and I don't know the name of the company that's made them, but I'm not known for being the world's biggest fan of orcs. But whoever done them Ghostbuster orcs and the Ecto one this year
Yeah.
blew me away at just how damn good they were. I can't remember who made them, sadly.
No.
But they
I've seen them
were
painted.
really phenomenally good.
Yeah.
They're very orky as well.
They are extraordinarily
Very
orky, but as a man who's partial to Ghostbusters, I just thought they were phenomenal. Yeah, to capture both things so well when they're so a gazillion miles away from each other. Yeah, that's been my non-Games Workshop product of the year. Has been them.
I think for mine, I have got my camera sorted. It'll hopefully run out of battery before it overheats again.
Nice.
Yeah. New Year's resolution: try and stop the overheating. I've updated all the firmware, but yeah, it's just part of it. I think is Gundam.
Yes. Yeah. That was gonna be my second actually because I really enjoyed that.
Foreign muck.
Yes,
Foreign look.
yes. So yeah, we owe this to Dave of MS Paints,
Legend that he is.
and we had him on as one of our early guests. I don't think that was
second guest.
second guest because we had
Yeah,
Bob on
Bob
first,
and then
didn't we?
Dave,
yeah.
Bob and Dave.
Bob and Dave.
Bob and Dave,
yeah, classic pairing. And
Two men who I really wouldn't want to put in the same room. Classic pairing, but I wouldn't
Polar
want to put them
opposites.
together.
yeah. And because Dave had done some Gundam stuff, and then Wayland Games got in touch and were like, "Hey, build this Gundam and make a video out of it." And I am not ashamed to admit that I was kind of in the camp of like, no, I like my Warhammer,
Same.
and I enjoy the building process like of Warhammer probably almost as much as painting it, because like building it is quite simple, and you can go, oh, it was on a sprue and now it's a thing, and that's cool. Like I like that. But then opening a Gundam kit, like seeing how big it is, and the box that it comes in is ginormous. It's all push fit. You have loads of articulated stuff in one piece on the sprue.
I know, which is bizarre.
Like,
Can't get my head around that still.
yeah, like you.
And I've read it. I understand
Yeah.
the tech behind it. Still can't get it.
Yeah. You have different colours of plastic
Yeah.
on
On a
the
sprue.
same
On a sprue,
sprue. And then just like just the hands, where it's like, oh, here's one piece, fold that into that, all the fingers move, and all you had to do was cut it off.
Yeah.
Like, and then just assembling it, all the detail when you're like, why have they done such a detailed like skeleton, and then you cover it up with armor? Like, what? And then you do it, and you're like, yeah, it's still really cool though.
Yeah.
To the point, like I have now bought one of my own, and I really want to, like, I built it on stream, and it took me. Well, I built some of it on stream.
that was last Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah, it took me 2.5 hours, and I built 2 feet. Because like say like push fit from GW, you think, oh, push fit, it's gonna have like big lines everywhere, and obviously like monopose and this, that, and the other. But then the Gundams are push fit. They're incredible, and they have all this articulation. Like, it's a very different product to a workshop miniature.
I'm going to throw it in
but
there.
They're brilliant.
I wonder down the line if, because Workshop has led the way with plastic tech for sprues and model kits. I mean, people can argue, and they're probably right too. Like Airfix were doing it before, and they were, and they've done some amazing kits. But certainly with like what the tooling side of stuff, Workshop's done. There's people that leave Rolls Royce because Games Workshop's next gen in comparison to building planes and nuclear submarines. So the step for a engineer in that kind of field is like, I worked at Rolls Royce, I built like submarines and jet planes. The next step is to make miniatures for Games Workshop.
Yeah, you'd be like, nuclear submarines, completely, mate. Toy soldiers.
Yeah. It was something a few people said in the past in like meetings and stuff that you have, like, the engineers would turn up and they had to custom make their own tools to do the intricate things and stuff like that, which is like what engineers love. Yeah. And it's like, really like flexing your skills and stuff. So down the line, I foresee potentially like Workshop seeing that plastic, that 2-part plastic, which is articulated. That being in things like Imperial Knights and Tau suits, that, you get the 2-part plastics that you have a solid leg that you just bend into shape, and then you've got articulated legs for your and maybe you want to keep them in a monopose. Maybe you want to like fix them and glue them and stuff.
Because maybe because this is the thing. Because as I was watching you build the Gundam, for me, I was like, oh my god, like this is the next level of plastic kits. Like the detail and the thought, and just being able to comprehend what was going into it. And it's like, oh, why aren't GW doing this? But you don't paint. I mean, I know that there's after you build your Gundam, you can weather it and put all your transfers on it and all that sort of stuff. But all the plastic's coloured, so you don't necessarily paint it.
Don't have to.
So you do move it a lot. Whereas I wonder, like, say with a Tau suit, would you, like, painting it, then you'd be like, oh, I'm going to move it, and then crack all your paint off. Like, there's a bit of a mismatch
So
there?
I think for that, it's not about it being an articulated toy for gaming.
Yeah.
It's more for, if an Imperial Knight, you have a moulding that you can only pose it in set ways. And some of the, like the Tau suits and like even the Sentinels, you have like, you can clip it here and clip it there and clip it there, or you can have these options of like articulation without looking too janky. Whereas I guess with like that technology, you can go, I want the leg doing this, I want the leg doing that. I'm now going to glue them in place. I want the arm doing that, and I want the arm doing that. You're not set to a certain set of positions. It would make like kit bashing like a easier entry.
Yeah.
I can also just posing your model in the pose that you actually want, as opposed to one that the 3 that you can pick from. In the set.
It's almost like putting GW and Lego in a blender, isn't it? Gundam.
Yeah, absolutely. It felt like Lego when you're pushing it together, and that was really bizarre. That no glue. The only time we used glue was you get these sticky metallic, not the little stickers, but there's like these brass etched metallic pads that go inside to look like metal, and they're really hard to peel off. And this is user error, not Gundam's issue. This is me. I was trying to peel them off, but then I'd bend them a little bit and then it loses its stickiness. So I just like, when I put them in, they wasn't that sticky. So I just had to glue them in. And that was more down to me not knowing how that worked and not using it properly because it was all new. But Gundam was really, really interesting. Blew my mind.
Just how, like, I think from building a lot of GW kits, you kind of like, oh yeah, I know how plastic kits work. And then you're like, oh no, I have no idea. It's a completely different thing. Which is very, very interesting. Are you happy for me to move on to some Patreon year in review?
Year in review.
Thomas asks, tastiest paint of 2023.
I can tell you the least tastiest, which is oily steel.
Yeah.
Tastes like ass, and I don't even know what that tastes like, but it tastes bad. Tastiest paint.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tasted a lot of paint this year. I try not to lick my brush. I wash my brush and then just sort of lick it to get a point.
Which is what I try to do.
Yeah.
AK Deep Shades taste nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Shouldn't be eating them. Don't recommend it, but they if you make a mistake, it's not a bad mistake.
I think that's
not an
what
unpleasant one.
paint have I used the most, so that means that's probably the one I've consumed the most.
Lead
Probably
belts.
Caliban Green, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I generally
yeah.
spray all the metal, so yeah, probably Caliban Green is probably the one I've...
Okay.
Whether it's been the tastiest, I don't know, but it's probably
Yeah.
the one I've consumed the most
Yeah.
of.
The most fragrant is the AK thinner, the fruity fragrance.
it's a lovely smell.
Such a lovely
the
smell.
fruity enamel thinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool,
I
yeah.
mean, that's almost cocktail level territory, isn't it?
Just don't drink it.
Yeah, just shout out to AK for making me want to drink thinner. Oh, dearie me.
When we get to the bottom of the whiskey, we'll be getting that. We'll be like, oh, I ran out. We need it. We need our hit pat. Let's get that thinner.
I am not having any more whiskey. I need sober up. And I had a big breakfast as well. Okay.
Can't handle your whiskey, apparently.
Apparently not. Well, I'm just buzzed,
Yeah.
happy.
I like when it numbs your lips. I've always enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
nice sensation. Look at her. Well chilled.
Yeah. Kristen asks, favourite new technique or miniature painting style you've picked up in the past year?
Can I take this one first?
Please do, yeah.
I've always enjoyed doing sponge chipping.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this was a thing until after. So it seems to have been like a 2023 phenomenon, if you like, which is a lot of people have been like layering and highlighting with sponges. And I was doing that on Asage's cloak, and I've been doing it on other cloaks. And then during that process, I've been seeing lots of TikToks as well where people are doing it. So I'm not saying I've led it, and I'm not saying I've watched other people and stole it. It just seems to be like a 2023 technique that's just like organically happened.
Sponges are so in this year.
Yeah, and like seeing Daz do the thing with the tube.
Yeah.
Because I just used to just use it with my fingers when I was doing tanks, because tanks are quite big and bulky, so you can get away with it. But for the fine detail sponging, just like such an obvious thing. And then using different sleeves for different thicknesses. So, you get the large sleeves if you want like a big one, smaller sleeve for a bit more fine detail.
Yeah.
I
mean,
it's good.
All of the miniatures that Daz has designed this year. I mean, exceptional painter, incredible miniature designer, and we're just like, yeah, he put a sponge in a paintbrush protector. Well done, Daz.
Life hacks, man. It's life hacks. It's all about that.
Do you remember when Peachy first turned up and set the world alight because he was using a paintbrush protector to keep a pot of paint open?
Yes. I mean,
You all have their place, don't you?
I remember the first time you did that, and I was like, do that again, but on camera, please. And they're like, what? I'm just doing this. I was like, no, the people need to know.
Yeah, it got a lot of comments that didn't it? I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about like the dynamic is I do stuff and sometimes forget it's like, oh yeah, that this is something. The reason why we do this is because these pots are really rubbish for like staying up and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
It's easy to become, I guess, used to what you do and not taking a step back and thinking about it. But yeah, sponge chipping, love it.
I think mine this year is starting, and it is still in its infancy, is starting to think about light placement. It's not something I nearly really cared about, but I am now starting to spray a miniature black, shine a light on it, photograph it, and start to think about metal, especially because I'm mainly painting metallic marines, but trying to think about lighter coloured metallics and a little bit of light placement. It's something I don't only do on characters, but that's probably a bit for me for this year.
Yeah. I think, oh, crikey. I guess the cult of paint effect for me is I've definitely entered my streaking grime phase. Painting my corpse grinders and like the ducks. I used a lot of streaking grime on those, which was fun. Start to use some oil paints and like using an airbrush and stuff as well. So I feel like my training wheels are sort of, I've loosened them.
Yeah, and thanks to Henry for the airbrush that you sent me as well.
Yeah.
So getting my head around that.
Yeah.
I'm going to chuck in one more, which is
Go on.
gore using the yoo-hoo.
Yes.
That
Ooh.
was fun.
Oh, I need to show you after we finish filming. I'll show you. AK have come up with a new blood paint, and then there's also viscera. And so when it comes out the bottle, it literally looks like someone's brains.
Oh my days!
It's phenomenal.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
I love this.
Yeah, because when you get the AK paints, you unscrew them and you put the little blob on the lid. I got like I think it's called viscera, but I'm going to call it the brain paint. I just like squirted it in the lid, and I was like, it comes out like cheese or something. Like it's like it's gross, but so gross it's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
They've not missed a product.
no, they
for
do.
painting
They do not
yet.
miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the splatter tool. Like, what's that? Oh, it's great.
And I'm talking actual paint, not like.
Do you know what though with AK though? They're so specific. I'm surprised there isn't like German blood, French blood, Japanese blood.
Give it
Do you know-
time.
you know
I mean,
you know what
we
they're
all know
like?
we all
Yeah.
bleed the same, Jeff.
Yeah.
We all bleed the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Well, you would think so, but I bet AK can find a paint that makes it different.
yeah. And they'll be
2 hour, but 2 hour blood, 4 hour blood, 9 hour blood.
Congealed blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clotted blood. Alien blood. That'll be the next thing.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so someone's asked favorite miniature of the year, but we sort of talked about that. Congratulations on a solid year. Hopefully, many more to come.
Thank you. Very kind.
Okay, that is favorite painting technique. For me, it was definitely priming pink to paint yellow. Would have never have thought of that.
Oh,
That
I wonder where they got
was
that from, eh?
wonderful.
If only someone had done a video all about yellow.
Yeah, Goonhammer. No, Goober Town, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, but his rating system for yellows was rubbish though.
yeah.
We totally stole that. We can't take credit for that.
Yeah. Pete the Wargamer says
What's he in the Patreon for?
the interview with Pete the Wargamer was definitely the highlight for me. Shout out to Pete.
Nah, my highlight of Pete the Wargamer was how embarrassed he looked to be made to sit on that toilet in our
I think
that and his existential crisis about a boost being a biscuit.
yes, my favourite 2023 Pete the Wargamer moment was when he was streaming on Twitch. We would raid him, and we would ask our followers to come in with a war cry. And we'd recently talked about if Primarchs were biscuits, what biscuits would they be? And it was like, Filgrim is a party ring and a chocolate finger. Open bracket, don't think about it. Close bracket.
Too late.
And then someone said Jagatai Khan is a boost bar because he's very fast.
Yeah.
So then people went into Pete's stream saying
Boost a biscuit.
a boost is a biscuit, and he hopefully pretended to be so annoyed that he put his "I'll be right back" screen on.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, he had the Tesco
Tesco's
website
website
open, searching biscuit, and he was like, "You're not going to find a boost. They're not biscuits." And then someone was like, "Well, you need to try Sainsbury's as well. Maybe Tesco have got it wrong." So he had multiple shopping websites open.
And wasn't after that he left Twitch?
Yes, he did. Yeah. So our community
We biscuit bullied him off Twitch.
are so
No, we
silly
didn't,
that
but
we got rid of him. Yeah.
lovely chap that he is.
Yeah,
Like Pete.
yeah.
A lot of time for Pete.
So yes,
A lot younger and sexier in real life as well.
Yeah.
You know what? When I first heard his voice, I did kind of think he's going to be like, he's old and he's got stories to tell and this, that, and the other. And then it was the Horus Heresy Open Day was the first time I saw him, and I was like, he's a child.
Well, as I've said before, looks like he's in sixth form, talks like he's head of sixth form.
Oh, fantastic! I love it. What are your? This is a reference. This is maybe that's a bit too much of an in joke because we were talking about street pizza.
Yes.
On the stream, which is a colloquialism.
Oh, for paper pizza.
For vomit.
Yeah.
So he said, "What are your favourite toppings on street pizza?" Favourite moment
Dead pigeon on mine.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Favourite moment in Sharp of 2023.
Favorite moment in Sharp.
I guess, yeah, full stop. When he goes back home and decides poverty Northern England is absolutely not for him and returns to war. That's Will's favourite moment.
I do have a favourite moment, and it wasn't aired at the time, but I'd read the book, and it was Sharp's Regiment, and I'd read the book, and this is when he goes back to the UK, and he has to find his regiment because he's got no replacements coming through, right? And then he finds out there's this whole conspiracy, and they're like, his regiment doesn't exist, and Simerson and this other commander called Girdwood have been like siphoning off the recruits to like sell off to other regiments and stuff like that. And he then goes undercover with Harper as a recruit, and they're in that. And there's a bit in the book which was just so well written, which is when it's the morning and Girdwood is like, door. No, first of all, he's like, sword. And the guy giving him the sword is like, mirror. And he like plays around with his moustache. He does it a lot in the previous chapters where he's just getting prepared every morning. And this is the time when Sean Bean comes back as Richard Sharp. He's like, door. And then suddenly Sharp walks into his face. He's just there like, sit down, you bastard. And I was like, oh. And then when they made the TV show of that and that happened, oh, so good. Just that moment of just like,
yeah,
he's been chased off, he's been hunted, he's watched what's going off, and now he's come back as Sean Bean Sharp. He's ready to bring in the reckoning, and it was such a good moment for me.
Yeah.
Favourite Sean Bean moment.
Sean Bean, the reckoning.
Yeah. Sharp's Reckoning.
Oh.
That's another episode.
Yeah. I think because I've watched the first 4 episodes, maybe 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, I feel
of Sharp.
terrible because I watched a chunk of Sharp when it was out originally, but I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah, and so I'm going to say my favourite Sharp moment was when he got is it the French Eagle? Yeah, when he did
which
that.
I always like because in the book of that they have to make an apology to my regiment.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, because the first French Eagle taken in battle was by the 27th Enniskillens.
Yeah.
And so when they write it in the book that the first one is captured by Sharp, the author, at the beginning of the book, he says it's an apology to the Royal Irish Rangers, as we were at the time, because it's one of their forefather regiments was the ones who actually... Sergeant Masterton, a proper country bumpkin from Ireland, him and a group of his men charged forward, shot a load of people, cut the French ensign down it
was only 12.
Yeah, cut the French ensign down and took the French standard of this amazing looking eagle, pulled it from his hand, stood at the top of the hill, waved it to the west of the Enniskillens to charge in that general direction, and shouted, "But Jesus, boys, I have the cuckoo."
It's a bird, isn't it?
I have it. Well, my father has it now, but as a painting was him literally smoking. There's just like some red coats running out of the
I thought for a minute then you're like, I have that.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah,
I have the eagle.
I got the eagle. Yeah, you were like
I had an illustrious career. They let me keep it.
Yeah.
Did you take it from some other people? And
You'd
cut
be
down
like,
some ensigns?
Jeff's like the British Museum. It's like the French are like, can we have that back? No.
Come and fight me.
I'm like a blood raven. It's a painting. It's really cool. He's got it in one hand, and in the other hand he's cutting this ensign who's fallen away down, and he's pulling it out of his hand. So the French Eagle.
Talking of fathers and paintings, my dad was part of the 912 Royal Lancers, and there's a painting. I think they've still got it, and it's in the Derby Museum, and it's the 9th Lancers when they're charging against a German Lancer regiment. Forgive me, I can't remember what they're called. I forget the name of the battle. It's early war when they had lots of cavalry still. So it's like the first year or two of World War One. It's a really cool scene where you got like a load of like really smart looking German lancers with their black and white little pennants on their lances. And you got like a load of British lancers, but it's pretty much like bamboo with like a knife on the end and stuff like that. And they're like galloping forwards.
It's mad to think we had cavalry in
I
First World War, isn't it?
And it's just like, in this battle, the British lost 3 horsemen and 7 were wounded. The German losses were heavy. It helped that there was a Vickers machine gun on the wall of the church, and there's a picture, and you can just see it's just there, just mowing all these people. And I was like, of course, it's gonna, that's a bit one-sided, I think. Charge of the 9th Lancers.
Crikey.
Poor
Whatever
guys.
works.
It's just the way it like goes on about this, and it's like, and it helped having this. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It probably swayed it.
Yeah.
Brought a
Fantastic.
machine gun to a lance fight.
Yeah.
Should laugh.
As the old saying goes.
Lives lost, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not a great time for anyone having a machine gun mowing you down, is it? I feel sorry for the horses too. Everyone forgets the horses.
Yes.
My
horses.
cousin's remark that always made me laugh for talking about that was in Afghanistan they were trying to they had contractors were trying to build a road between two Afghan towns so that they could trade with each other, and obviously trade and all of that just helps stabilize the country. Problem was is they kept getting attacked by the Taliban, so my cousin's the King's Regiment, I think they were still the King's Regiment at the time, they started going into the countryside looking weak, so they were taking them in small numbers. They were definitely not normally the sort of size of patrols they would normally use, so they would tempt the Taliban away from the road to fight them, thinking they were going to do quite well out of it. And then they had these things called jackals, which are big open-topped armoured personnel vehicles. And once the fight would start, the jackals would have been hidden miles away and then would come in on and pincer movements with 50 cal machine guns on the top. And I said to my cousin, he said, do they engage the jackals? To which my cousin just said, the best, coolest macho line I thought I'd heard on the one. He went, he said, no one hangs around when a 50 starts singing.
That's
It's such
fair.
a distinctive noise.
Yeah.
And no matter where that clips you, you're a goner.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
You're not
yeah,
getting out
yeah,
of it. So he
yeah.
said, they just know, they're just scarper.
Yeah.
And he said it was the first time they'd done that weak patrol thing since the Second World War, that the British Army used it as a tactic.
Oh, right. Very good.
Makes
Cool.
sense, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get those
Okay.
roads built.
Yep.
Got to build
I
them roads.
Could do with them around Ockbrook right now. Oh my god, it's like third world country roads where I live. So I struggle to get home on my two wheels because there's so many potholes.
I know I was like that somewhere recently. I said to Haley, I said, the road that probably goes into Kiev has probably got less potholes.
Yeah, it's insane, and it's one of there's accounts. I'm sorry, I'm slightly sidetracking away from
Of course.
from miniatures,
Yeah.
but me and Liz sometimes go to every Saturday we go to a place called San Diego. Dave
Yep.
Pooley's from there, so and we do shop, have some lunch. And for a time, you got two councils, right? And there was loads of potholes. And one council, I don't know if Liz remembers this, but I certainly, because I used to go to yours and workshop that route all the time. There was a large pothole by a crossroads where Lidl is. And that is where the border stops. And they filled half of the pothole.
Oh, honestly.
Half of it. Because the rest went in. And I'm like, seriously? It's
I mean, that one is incredibly petty. And then two, Nottingham Council
it was Error Wash at Nottingham.
is bankrupt
Yes,
now.
yeah.
Officially, aren't they?
Yeah,
So maybe they were just poking fun, be like, you can't afford to.
Oh,
fix
it was.
this.
Yeah. It wasn't them. It was Error Wash that only did half. So,
yeah.
So probably just
Honestly.
like they could have done it. Could have just filled it. But what?
That's
how-
where you need pothole graffiti penis man, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. That gets them
That
fixed.
man is an
Yeah, it
absolute
does.
hero
Yeah.
in my book.
Yeah.
Go around
yeah.
and do that more.
Having driven the trip from my old flat to my new house a lot this past week, I've kind of like memorized where the potholes are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I've just gotten onto the A52 and we've left here. Right. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I hit one the
Have
other
to
day.
do that,
I hit one the other day. I thought it was going to snap my alloy wheel on my van in half. I swear to God, it was so deep.
Oh,
Thankfully, I went past the other day and it was done. But it was like,
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not good for you, is it?
No.
Costs us money.
what else you
Wear
got
and
for us,
tear.
Mr. Taylor?
Loads. But we have about 10 minutes, I would say, left. Most
for it.
interesting bit of law that you learned this year? I feel like I learned
Bad
all
ab.
of my law this year.
Bad Ab War.
Yeah.
I'm watching Arbitrarian because
Yeah.
I didn't know much about it, and I'm just watching some of his stuff. So I found that really fascinating.
They're so
Yeah.
well put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was that. It was so grim. That I don't know if it's all of them, but the particular Space Marine hero's scabbard for his power sword was made from the self-flagellation of
Oh, yeah.
of human pilgrims when they're on their trips to Terra.
Yes.
Which is so brilliantly grim.
And self-flagellation is hurting yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they were-
so they take their own skin off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So them Space Marines can have it for their.
That's grimdark.
It's
Yeah.
grimdark with a capital G, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe a capital D.
Everything's capital.
yeah. And I think for me is I've really been enjoying Black Library at the minute. I think I'm on like book 22 of my driving in cars and listening to 40k novels and bits and bobs. And there's so much that I like The Infinite and Divine. I think was probably one of my favorite books, and just how petty Trazyn and Orican are, and how like there's a planet called Serenade, and they're working on it, and then Trazyn is like, oh, Orican's annoying me. Oh, here's a monster. I'm going to get it to attack him, and then it didn't realize that it was a gene stealer. And he started like a gene stealer uprising on the planet. Spoilers. And then that's why the Imperium come and exterminate the planet. And how they perceive time, like when they get in fights, they dial back their chronosense, and everything is super duper slow. And they're like, oh, I don't really like how that went. Blip, 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 and can go back in time because they have all these cool artifacts and this, that, and the other. So that was really cool. But then also on the flip side, I've been loving Caiaphas Cain, as I've been harping on about quite a lot, and just all of just how enjoyable and easily pick upable the books are. Like they're all very similar. He never learns anything. There's no character growth, but just like all of the silly references that are in there that make me laugh, and how there'll be so many in there that I don't get, but then also, like, there was one where it was this massive battle between these, like, combat servitors that started attacking Cain and Jurgen. I think it was this one or whatever. I don't know. It was a big fight. And it was like, oh, and he had this massive plasma gun and he hit the ground just where I was. And it was like, and instantly the ground started to transmogrify. And I was like, Calvin and Hobbes, he had a transmogrifier.
He did,
and that was like, they're just referencing Calvin and Hobbes. Like, that's not a word. And just being like, oh my God, that's from Calvin and Hobbes. Oh my God, that's from Star Wars. And all of that silly nonsense.
Like you said, it's probably loads that you don't get, but loads that you do. Yeah.
And
something for everyone.
Yes, that's it. I think there's something for everyone. They're really enjoyable books. The stories are fantastic.
The one you mentioned, like with the Gaunt's Ghost one, which is like, do you want to live forever? It's like, who talks like that?
Yes, yeah. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, they're self-deprecating. Yeah, they know like what they are, and and just how kind of like Cain is like, oh, I have this really undeserving reputation. Better do a load of heroic shit to keep it. And then like that's essentially it. Like he's like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but I guess I'll save the world. And how Jurgen is so amazingly helpful because he's a blank and all that sort of stuff. And then it's not even lore, but just listening to...
It is lore, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is always adding more information to it all.
So, I'm sure there was a model of Caiaphas Cain. I'm sure there was. Like, I think it was resin.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look back now in my old brain.
You've seen someone's made one.
Someone on Twitch made...
No, I'm sure.
There's an unofficial...
Yeah.
I'm sure
when we were streaming, somebody sent me a link to Jurgen and Cain, and it was like... army leader drinking tea with aid.
Yeah.
The name. But and also Toby Longworth reading the Eisenhorn novels and just going body glove.
Yeah, body glove.
That always makes me giggle. So
brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant narrator.
Very, very happy. Yeah.
Sure. What else have you got for us?
It was. Anyone get mad?
No, that's okay. Best event and convention of the year.
Ooh. Oh, well, I haven't been to that many this year, but I really enjoyed Birmingham.
Games Expo.
Well,
Games Expo.
It was nice to catch up with people we've spoke to online and meet in the flesh. That was lovely.
Yeah, very much so.
It was nice the rare moments of seeing our man here who's full of knowledge being taught how to do something involving painting and paint.
With Byron. Yeah,
that was fun. I enjoyed that.
The lovely people who ran the Fallout stands, they were great. Yeah, but generally, I really enjoyed Birmingham. It was nice to take the kids too. The kids really got a lot out of it, which was cool. Yeah.
I think I'll definitely take Charlie next year. I'll probably stop over.
Yeah. Because I did originally think with Birmingham Expo, I was like, how on earth could you spend like more than a day here? And then I got there and I was like, oh yeah, I can see how you spend more than a day.
Because what I'll probably do is like do one day, just do the rounds.
Yeah.
Which will probably be boring as heck for Charlie, but the second day is like, we're just going to sit and play games, mate.
Yeah.
Probably do a bit of both on it.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember you were at the stand for Star Wars and they had a Star Wars card builder and my two boys loved it, and then they were like, "We really like this," and they were so enthused. And I went, "Great, let's have a box." And they went, "We haven't got it," and I managed to get a box off Amazon. It's the main starter box, I think, is going out of print, and it'll just be like the smaller starter boxes.
Oh, right. Okay.
So yeah, so hopefully they'll enjoy playing that over Christmas. But yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've only done that and Salute this year.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Salute. Salute
Yeah.
was good. We met a lot of people at Salute, which was lovely.
I want to like Salute, but I didn't get to see much of it.
No, you did.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. It was nice. It was fun, and there was so much benefits from going to Salute anyway, because I got chatting to Ben and Lewis from Games Night, and that was and they were on the same what do you call it? Not stand. What did we do when we?
Oh, like a talk.
Yeah.
Talk. I think
Panel.
Thank you. That's the word. I really enjoyed Birmingham Expo. Was great, and I think if anyone can only do one event in the year, do that one, because there's so much to see and so much to do,
And
so much going off.
the great thing is if do Birmingham Expo, because if there is a massive queue at the next Warhammer Fest for a new game that you can't get chance
You'll be
to play,
fine.
just to wait and do it 2 months later at Birmingham Expo, where it'll be like a ghost town.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, that wasn't it? Wants to try Leviathan, 4-hour queue, Birmingham Expo, no one to be seen.
But I think GriffCon
Bring a packed
and
lunch, though.
ChillCon I enjoyed a lot as well.
Yeah.
For different reasons. Like they're both.
Yeah.
ChillCon was pretty chilled and quiet.
Yeah.
Which was not quite as in like it wasn't busy. It was just like chilled.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
But I quite like GriffCon as well. I know you two didn't go to GriffCon, but that was
No,
the same sort
no,
of
I
vibes as
didn't.
ChillCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed both of those for different reasons. It was a bit more laid back, take your time, and had some fun with like Suggs doing like painting seminar. Well, not painting seminars, teach people how to paint. That was a bit of fun as well.
Did you bring out your lead?
No, there was a
got
reason
really
why I
good reviews.
couldn't do it, because something else was going for the same weekend. I think it was something family orientated, something like, I can't remember now, but I couldn't go.
But that had great reviews, that did. Yeah, I'm going to try and manage that, see if we can manage it next year.
Yeah. My favourite, because it was my sort of hobby event virginity being taken away from me, was ChillCon. And that sort of set the standard for me, I think. And it was, my camera's overheated again. Or ran out of battery, one of the two. I thought it was fantastic. I really liked it. Great various stands and bits and bobs going on and competitions and stuff. And it was just, really good fun.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good one to start on.
Yeah. And then I think potentially a good question to end on. What, says Matt, are your New Year's hobby resolutions?
Oh,
I think I'm going to try doing more stuff with an airbrush. I've not chickened out. I've just not found that much opportunity, because there's a bit of setup. And at the moment, when I hobby, I tend to find I do it in the evening. Unfortunately, because I put it on the floor, it vibrates across the wooden floor, which is not great when Liz is asleep and Charlie's asleep.
Yeah.
So trying to find more times during like a daytime, to like on a Sunday or a Saturday after we've done stuff, to go, I'm going to go and do some airbrushing and just get used to that. Because I've airbrushed a ruined ATST and some other bits on scenery and some bits on a tank, but not enough to warrant getting super familiar with it. So that, I think, for me. Oops, there's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door.
oh, steady.
Smash! Bad smash. What about you?
Rough.
Techniques wise?
Mine is going to be realising that practice doesn't make perfect, and I should start experimenting with paint more.
Sassy. I mean, the thing like with like in AK, there's so many products now that do different things. So like there's the thinners,
it's all right.
there's the liquid not the thinners, the liquid pigments, there's the enamel washes, there's the deep shades, which I really love. The deep shades are great, but I've used a bit of the liquid pigments, but there's some colours that just dry almost white, like a salt desert. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not quite sure. So I'm getting my head around that. There's loads of like vibrant colours as well.
You've had a guest arrive.
It's purring. It's purring.
She's being massively protective about the whole situation.
Yeah.
All right, Belle. So,
Have you got one, Pat?
My hobby resolution, I can't edit it myself because my camera's died.
You can hear your voice. That's all that's important.
Yeah. I think I don't know, I want to do more, but I think I don't want to over pressure myself and feel bad if I don't succeed anything. So I think I'd like to see progress, and I'd like to put an appropriate amount of pressure on myself to achieve
I've got
more.
one for you.
Oh, okay.
So
Ooh.
you've done an army,
Yes.
but it's not yours.
No.
And I'm not saying you should do a whole army, but maybe like a combat patrol.
Yes.
That is yours. I know you're halfway through, probably
A lot of
slightly over half or
custodies.
slightly under half of your custodies, but
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
like do like a not even a kill team because you got an
Yeah.
Necromunda gang.
Yes,
It's
I've
pretty
got a
much done.
Necromunda gang, yeah.
But yeah, it's the next step, like doing
Yes.
like a combat patrol.
Yes.
And getting that completed,
Yeah.
and then it's yours, and you don't give it away.
Yeah.
As good as that was
Might
for
be a thing
charity.
for next year, you know, the odd game of Combat Patrol.
Yeah.
on
Tale
the
of
channel,
3
maybe.
Wargamers.
Oh, that'd be a good way.
Yeah.
And we halfway through, we just sidetrack and do another project.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be
'Cause
like
that's
this at
what-
all, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
cool.
we go. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I've got loads of orcs. I think like the annoying thing is with my brain, I want to try and paint like everything. I'm like, oh, Black Templars are really cool. Oh, Flesh Terrors are really cool. Oh, these Space Marines, and I'd like to paint Gene Stealers.
Is that butterflying, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think maybe a end of year thing would be New Year's resolution would be I want to paint like one thing from like every.
I thought you were going to go the other way and go, do you know, is to just get on with one thing and get it painted.
Yeah.
And then you went, no, it's my New Year's resolution, playing to everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's what kill
Everything
teams
at
for.
once.
Just do
Yes.
lots of kill teams.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why skirmish
Yeah,
is great.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that's how
yeah.
next year I'm going to scratch the kill team itch for Desperate to Do Sisters. And I have that limited edition sister of the sergeant with the scarred face who's pointing the gun.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I'm going to buy...
Terranopolis.
Oh, I didn't even know she had the name. Yeah, I've got to do that with a team, and then it'll just be for kill team, and that'll be my sister battle itch scratched, I think.
Yeah, fantastic.
Cool.
Lovely. Great. I think we're just over the 2-hour mark now. So
Wunderbar. Well, have a great 2023. We'll see you in 2024.
Yes.
Maybe.
yeah, I mean, maybe this will come out in 2023.
We'll see you in 2025.
for patrons. It might be 2024 for
Who
YouTube
cares?
viewers.
We'll see you
Yeah.
soon.
Bella's going to be angry next
Yeah.
year. That's her
Yeah,
resolution. Yeah,
That's a New Year's resolution to be even more grumpy.
In dog language, I think it was kill main burn. She
Yeah, I
was
think it was, yeah.
saying the kill main burn.
Purge the
heavy
unclean.
flamer.
So I got my eyes on you, man in the corner.
Yeah. But yes, thank you everyone for watching us in 2023. We hope
very
you
kind of
continue
you.
to do so. And we couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
No.
Toodle
See you
pip.
next year. Bye-bye.
I mean, I could like slowly get up the camera.
Oh, wrong one, wrong one.
Oh, no. Oh.
Do it again. Do it again. It's the middle one.
Sure.
The middle one. It was looking at me.
Yes. Yay!
Yay! There we go. There we go. Hey.